Hello, everyone. We're back with the Science is the New Religion script with Michael in Germany today, and we are going to delve into the Atom series. We're in the sixth part of this paper, or rather this study that Michael has put together for us. And I believe it looks like our 92nd session, believe it or not, and Science is the New Religion. That's quite a ways in there, Michael. Michael, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Brad. Thanks for having me twice this time, or twice today. Yeah, this is the second session of today. Want to make ends meet, because I think that we only have to go into the next session, maybe to close it down on the atom thing, yeah, so that we can keep on in the future, because I think in the future we will soon talk about some yeah, maybe health issues, huh? From the scientific or from a biblical standpoint. How's that? So,
Sure.
Atom 6, what did I prepare? Actually, I have to look somewhere in the script, because now it's 200 or 300 pages, but these are most copy and paste, so therefore it is just about the Chernobyl incident and agnosticism in general. What do these two things have in common? Well, let's start with agnosticism. What is it about agnosticism? Agnosticism is the view or belief that the existence of God or the divine or the supernatural is unknown or unknowable, so could not be proven with scientific measures, for example. Another definition provided is that the view that the human reason is incapable of providing sufficient rational grounds to justify either the belief that God exists or the belief that God does not exist. Let me tell you one thing, that if God has not pulled you to receive the Holy Spirit, you will never get what God is and everything else about the Bible and creation, etc. Yeah, so you can't grasp it if you're not in the right spirit, because the spirit of the Antichrist is still in the working, according, I think it was the first letter of John, first epistle of John. You will never get it, because the Antichrist spirit won't let you to the truth. So this is just for the minority of people who are really open to to biblical understanding of the matter. And you know that when we are faced by this majority of scientists, they will reject God because they want to play God for themselves, or they won't find out about the secrets of the universe. How can you find out the secrets of the universe with excluding God or not believing in God? So agnosticism itself is a system which says I can't prove God. So if I can't prove God, I don't believe in God. Yeah, that's my 2 cents about it, Brett.
Yeah, it's interesting. I looked up agnosticism or agnostic in the Oxford Dictionary, believe it or not. And it says the year 1870. And if we recall, the papacy was in a new era, so to speak, in 1870, or rather 1866 through the 70, you know, because there was this 1260-year period of, since was 606 to 1866, Emperor Phocas handing over the temporal power to the Pope. And then was it now the Swiss guards leaving, or was it the Swiss troops, French troops leaving? The French troops left the Pope.
Yeah, stop the protection.
Yeah, so this was a major move by the papacy to redraw its power and internalize for a while. And it held a Vatican Council in December 1869. And it's well known as the Vatican Council of 1870, as far as I'm concerned. So a lot of this may have to do with that. I don't know, but the time stamp is there. And it says here, agnostic is one who holds the existence of anything beyond phenomena, that is of a first cause or of what does it say? Noumena? What's noumena? I'm not sure what noumena means. It is not and cannot be known, okay? So also it says as of or pertaining to agnostic or agnosticism. Okay, so yeah, I mean it's interesting because I have friends that are agnostic actually, and it's hard to penetrate through that layer of belief. If you choose that path, then you're going to hold to what you sense with your senses. It's not necessarily a spiritual thing, is it, Michael?
Yeah, Brett, so that's such a miserable existence here if you compare that with the real eternal life. So that it's not hard to find all the evil in the world because there is so little people who are really doing good.
Mm-hmm.
In doing so, you first have to believe in a divine creation. Yeah. So otherwise, you think of Darwinism, evolution, and you think that it's a struggle for the survival of the fittest. Yeah. So I think that morals and ethics come with belief. When you are in a belief system who is supporting love, that everything has been created out of love and not by random, I think you support the idea that you can cure people with love and feelings instead of with medicine and poison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So that is not a direct answer to your question, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think that it's just the foundation which counts. It is the foundation that counts. What kind of belief system are you in and what kind of route you will follow, so that the end result, when you start with the wrong foundation, can only be erroneous.
Mm-hmm.
You're not satisfied with my answer?
Well, no, it's the fact that it's how you're raised, really, I think, that that makes the difference, because your parents set you forth on that path. And also the conditions that you live in have a great influence on that as well. Are your parents allowing you to take the liberty of studying the Bible? In many cases, no. They never introduced their children to the Bible. Why? Because they were raised Catholic, and they were tormented by this limitations and all these rules that have been placed on them as to how they view their faith. So they rebel. So there's deep-seated problems here, Michael, that are not going to be simply resolved by us. It's God's will that will free us from bondage to sin and all of these other things. So if it be God's will to open the minds and the ears and the eyes of the people, then great. I'm all for it. But most of the time, it's very difficult to convince someone that there is such a thing as faith in Jesus Christ. They have to find that for themselves, I guess, is what I think, Michael. It's not something we can do for them.
Yeah, you see that you can have good intentions, but it won't matter in the end, because it's God's plan to pull somebody out of that beast system or not. And
here's the real fact, Michael, is that I've been deceived.
Yeah,
I've been deceived.
We all are.
And if you want to if you want to listen to me, I'll tell you really simply, it was by the church. And the way that they explained things to me, yeah, some of it was good, some of it was right, and some of it certainly is not. So there's a lot of things at play, and in the end, the enemy is going to be going into perdition. That means eternal damnation. Mm-hmm. And God forbid our friends do, but look, we have to set the record straight. And I think that's why Michael and I take the time to do things like this, is because, yeah, agnosticism it's a form of belief. It's a dogma in of itself, just as, faith in Jesus Christ is a dogma too, isn't it?
Yeah, but although maybe the preconditions of your parents and your education and your environment are good, it's nevertheless, in the end, it's a decision of God to pull somebody out of the system or not. I don't think it's dependent on the preconditions or on the education level. I think it is also not pure luck. It has just been either you are on the broad way or on the narrow path. And I think if you are on the narrow path, then it's a gift of God. It's not something that you can achieve out of your own, and it's not something that we can achieve by doing sessions. Yeah, so that's right. That's my point. I don't take anything away that you say, but I think that usually maybe the environment is a little bit overestimated in that area. I think that we have seen that God has pulled people out of a wrong belief system, and you see that both Moses and Paul, they both were murderers.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So we have, I think, a really realistic hope that even people that we would think of, they are being damned,
totally lost.
They're being lost. Yeah, thank you. They're being lost. Yeah, even they got a chance by God. So that's been the grace of God.
Yeah, that's right. And God works in mysterious ways, and He starts the whole process. It's His glory that Michael and I have. We have attained His glory. It's not that we're the ones that started that. No, it's His glory. It's not ours per se, because the scriptures clearly say that we should deny thyself, pick up your cross, and follow me, is what Jesus taught, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it's a denial of self. It's not, look at how righteous I am. No, look how pitiful I was. That's more like it. I was pitiful. And God showed mercy on me. And I think anyone who takes the time to really understand that we have a false gospel and a false prophet and a man of sin who uses his entire world system to cower to his will, you can easily see that's where the deception is. It's in the world. It's everywhere. It's when we come out of the world and we come out of her, that means her teachings, her blasphemies, her transgressions against the Most High. Then we begin to see that God's word actually means something, because we can read it and understand that it is true. It's not false. What is false, though, is this system of belief that has foisted itself upon our institutions today. And all of the institutions have been in line with this system. It's called ecumenism. And ecumenism is nothing new. It's been around here since the beginning of the Roman age. They had an ecumenical council way back in 300 what? I forget the year. But ecumenism has been here since Constantine, hasn't it?
No, let's say that Satan, all the time that Satan is dwelling on the earth, he wants to twist the word. So the question is, what ecumenism really is? Is it limited to churches, or is it just a mixing of words? Yeah, mixing of beliefs. Yeah, so that it's trickery.
Yes, it is. You're right. It is a mixing of belief. It's a very dangerous place to be, and that's where Christendom is at today. They are an ecumenical council that have, they've prevailed throughout the Roman era, and before that, haven't they?
You see that Satan also says, what is the Jesuit motto? All means.
Oh yeah, the ends justify the means.
The end justifies the means. Yeah, you see that every measure necessary will be taken.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Every measure, every.
It doesn't matter if you understand; it's if you obey. That's what they want. They want your obedience. They want your obedience.
Or to disconnect you from God. Yeah, that's maybe also.
Yeah. Of course, they want to deceive you. So, yeah, they've succeeded. But there's a time and a place, I guess, for everyone, Michael, where you say enough is enough. I don't need to be deceived anymore.
Okay, so agnosticism is very interesting because there was an English biologist called Thomas Henry Huxley. Yeah, not Julian. And so in 1869, so close to 1870, huh?
Wow, yeah.
And says, quote, it simply means that a man shall not say he knows or believes that which he has no scientific grounds or profession to know or believe. Quote unquote, but that's the majority of scientists nowadays. They just claim that they know something when they just believe something. So it's not science, it's a science so-called. Yeah. Earlier thinkers have written works that promoted agnostic points of views, like in the 5th century, an Indian philosopher, etc., and Protagoras, the 5th century before Christ, not common era, Greek philosopher who expressed agnosticism about the existence of the gods, or, yeah, of course, the Olympic and Greek pantheon, The gods. So, it is in official Wikipedia entries called Defining Agnosticism. Agnosticism is of the essence of science, whether ancient or modern. It simply means that a man shall not say he knows of beliefs which he has no scientific grounds. So it's the exclusion of God, of course. Yeah. So you start from the beginning, you start from scratch, you start with a big boom, bang. Yeah. So this is just a philosophy that you have to exclude God. It's the same happening all over again in physics, in biology, in geography. Yeah, you have to get rid of God. What does the serpent say in the Garden of Eden? Ye shall be as gods. Gods. Yep. Every man can be as God, or let's say it in the words of... The
serpent also said, yea, hath God said.
Yeah, and Aleister Crowley once famously was reported to have been saying every man and woman is a star. And now they're looking also for Germany looks for the superstar, and it's all a mess, but it's also obvious for people who have read the Bible. So I came across that very Thomas Henry Huxley. Being a scientist above all else, Huxley presented agnosticism as a form of demarcation. A hypothesis with no supporting objective, testable evidence is not an objective scientific claim. As such, there would be no way to test said hypothesis, leaving the results inconclusive. Interesting, huh? So these people are just dreamers. Yeah, they dream, maybe it's so, or maybe it's the other way around. Yeah, so that is just a philosophical foundation which is including God. And now please look at this. Mr. Thomas Henry Huxley had several titles. He was a fellow of the Royal Society, like, of course, Newton and all the stuff. But, and it's a big but, he was PC. He was member of the Privy Council of the United Kingdom, meaning on the inner circle of the Queen of England. Such a high-ranking position. An English biologist and anthropologist specializing in comparative anatomy, he has become known as, quote-unquote, Darwin's bulldog for his advocacy of Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Yeah, and it's the same line as all these agnostics theory or antichrist theory of the Big Bang and relativity and all as such. Yeah. So Charles Darwin's book is not about the theory of evolution, yeah, but the entire title is called The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life. So this is a blueprint for racism. That's what not people being telling, the teachers are not telling that, the pupils and also the textbooks are not telling it, that is favored races. Yeah, so some races are more favorable than others. And what does the Bible tells us? All you are brethren.
That's correct. Yeah, he's made us of one blood too.
Yeah, yeah.
One blood.
Look at this oxymoron, yeah? On the one hand, they are promoting Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by favored races, and on the other hand, people are protesting against racism.
Ah, that's called Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah.
Rub them together and get a synthesis.
Yeah. Yeah, the synthesis is not to believe in God.
Yeah, to destroy Christianity, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, let's speak of the Oxford movement, huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
1860. Yeah, that's well into it, isn't it?
Yeah, where humans were closely related to apes. Huh. Yeah, he was virtually self-taught. He had little formal schooling. He became perhaps the finest comparative anatomist of the 19th century. Yeah, what is meant by the finest? The most according to the official propaganda? Yeah, well. He started to educate himself. And you know, you only need that one picture, Brad.
Wow. Yep.
So somebody who is just not educated to look at these kind of details,
yeah, you
would
have
say
to
that
really look at that picture carefully. Zoom in on his chest there. You see what he's doing? The hidden hand, right?
The hidden hand, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's all around. He's member of a society.
Age 21.
Yeah.
Climbing up the ladder, eh?
Yeah. Now you know the real reason.
Yeah. He's not innocent.
Yeah. He was used by Charles Darwin as a translator of scientific material in German. Yeah, he made himself an expert. Oh yeah, you see that if he can get along with that, why can't we get along with that, Brad? We are also experts, aren't we? We have been taught ourselves, we have read the Bible, we have listened to so many interesting feats, and we have read so many books. We have also experts.
The difference is that the world rejects us for what we bring to the table, because bring the cornerstone that was rejected by the builders to begin with.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So you got to understand that if you want to be out in the world and make tons of money and all that, this isn't the series for you, because we reject the world. What does it say in the Bible again, Michael? It says, love for the world is enmity to God.
Hmm. Yeah, and now think about it and ask a question. Where did he get all the money? Yeah, where did he get all the money, and where was he making a living? Why is he being thought as an expert, a self-taught guy, when he was just a boy who left school at 10, became one of the most knowledgeable men in Britain? Yeah, you can't do that without having heavy connections to the so-called society.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah? So you see that you don't have to look anywhere else, you just have to look to a picture, to a symbolism, to a gesture, whatsoever, yeah, and you know that spot on, you know that these people are just in a small circle, and you and we are not members of that circle.
Could that be why maybe one of the old terms for this society is called the company? You know, the Society of Jesus, okay? That's who Michael and I are talking about here.
Yeah. At 20, he passed his first examination at the University of London, winning the gold medal for anatomy and for physiology. However, he did not present himself for the final exams and consequently did not qualify with the university degree. His apprentice and exam results formed a sufficient basis for his application to the Royal Navy. Yeah. But nevertheless, this self-taught guy, when he left school at the age of 10, he published his first scientific paper demonstrating the existence of hitherto unrecognized layer in the inner sheets of hairs, etc., etc., etc. Interesting. And how is that related to science? Yeah, well, you see that this guy is a so-called world-renowned expert who also worked together with Charles Darwin, and so he was just having a basic school education. So don't come up with the point that we, both of us, and many of our Christian friends and brothers are not experts in our field. Yeah, so please define expert. Huh? So I think that we have studied much more than the usual. Yeah, you know what I want to say. So let's get it on. I came across a very strange fact before we go down to the road to Chernobyl. I came across the fact that when radiation was being, so to speak, discovered, you know that Marie Curie was a Polish and naturalized French physicist and chemist who conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, like Barack Obama. The first and the person and only woman to win the Nobel Prize twice, and the only person to win a Nobel Prize in 2 scientific fields. Her husband, Pierre Curie, was a co-winner on her first Nobel Prize, so that both of them got along. The first ever married couple to win the Nobel Prize, etc., etc. And she discovered radioactivity. So, what's it all about? We talked about that many things in nature also are so-called radioactive, and that does not mean that it is harmful to health. Yeah, but she served the agenda as well as Mr. Huxley served the agenda, so therefore she received a Nobel Prize. If I would give you one hint at the current situation, that is, then please study at the moment what content people are being busy with who are receiving Nobel Prizes, especially in biology and chemistry. And you will find out it's much about human cells and modifications, transhumanism, so it's just about the agenda. Yeah, you see that also what was very interesting. In 1895, she married the French physicist Pierre Curie, and she shared the 1903 Nobel Prize in Physics with him and with the physicist Henri Becquerel for their pioneering work developing the theory of radioactivity, a term she coined. In 1906, his husband Pierre Curie died in a Paris street accident.
Oh,
yeah. I have not researched that, but interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, strange. What accidents happening, yeah? You see that, look upon JFK Jr., look upon Alexander Onassis and all these people. Nowadays they got to plane accidents. Yeah.
Right.
So let's get back to the nitty-gritty. And when they discovered radioactivity, there were some, let's say, fraudulent doctors, let's put it that way, who have then come up with some healing devices or healing medicine like Raditor, a certified radioactive water. Ah, no joke. It was a patent medicine that is a well-known example of radioactive quackery and specifically of excessive broad and pseudo-scientific application of the principle of radiation hormesis. Pseudo.
Yeah, that's quackery, Michael.
Quackery.
Like when you say a quack, like a duck, you know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So that is Very interesting. Raditor was manufactured from Bailey Radium Laboratories, and the owner of the company was listed as Mr. William J. A. Bailey, a dropout from Harvard College, so an expert. A dropout of Harvard College who was not a medical doctor. How can that be? It was advertised as a cure for the living dead, as well as perpetual sunshine. Oh my. The product was claimed to cure impotence, among other ills. Yeah, nowadays it's called, from Pfizer, and it's called Viagra.
Man, a cure for the living dead. Yeah, that's brilliant. That is just brilliant. What a slogan.
Yeah, that's almost a biblical joke, huh?
It really is.
It really is, huh? Yeah.
Pathetic. Actually.
Yeah, it's really a kind of a joke. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Even Wyers, a wealthy American socialite, athlete, industrialist, and Yale College graduate, so that don't save you, that doesn't save you from any stupid BS, died from raditor radium poisoning in 1932. Byers was buried in a lead-lined coffin. When exhumed in 1965 for study, his remains were still highly radioactive and measured at 225,000 becquerels. Yeah, what does that tell you? Yeah, so that you can't prove anything, but you should not rely on any doctors or any miracle medicine that will save you in the end.
A cure for the living dead.
A cure for the living dead.
Well, let's see. Okay, if you're already dead and you're alive, then it'll decompose your body much faster. So go right ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, but his death led to the strengthening of the Food and Drug Administration, so he's to blame for the current situation. FDA.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's quackery, huh? William Bailey quackery. So that William Bailey was a patent medicine inventor and salesman. Yeah, he falsely claimed to be a doctor of medicine and promoted the use of his wonder, radioactive radium, as a cure for cough, flu, and other common ailments. That sounds very familiar, huh?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, he died wealthy from his many devices and products, so he must have some connections to the society, including an aphrodisiacum called Aereo, marketing as a blah 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 blah. So he was very wealthy, and you see where to start. Yeah, he died of radiation-induced cancer. You see, that is all pseudoscience here, as far as I'm concerned. I don't rely on any official study where cancer is deriving from. I think that cancer has quite a different origin, but I'm not allowed to speak in the open here on that program. There is very interesting research, also on BitChute.
Yeah, but if you read that whole sentence, Michael, what it said there was pretty interesting. In fact, okay, where was it now? You had it on...
oh, sorry.
That one case of... Yeah, I was just trying to see that again here. In fact, radiator was a chronically lethal mixture and was responsible for the death of Eben Mayers in 1932, who died of, radiation-induced cancer after drinking about 1,400 bottles of it. 1,400 bottles of it.
Yeah, the more the better.
Man,
and sometimes it seems here like a fairy tale, huh?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, 1,300 bottles didn't do any good, so I have to order another 100. Or what? Yeah, radioactive quackery.
Yeah.
But that does remind me of so many things at the moment, that
Quackery,
people are
Michael.
coming up with some miracle, and we will save you in the end, especially when they're being carrying pentagrams.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's. I think you can't be much further away from God's loving creation.
But you can have a job and get paid lots of...
Yeah, serving mammon, huh?
Yeah, mammon, right.
Yeah. Radioactive quackery. Powder based on radium thorium, according to the formula of Dr. Alfred Curie, not related to Pierre and Marie Curie. Yeah, I have to believe everything. There's so many coincidences around here. Yeah, so that is really interesting that there are so many even Russian things. Boryomi mineral water, the water is radioactive, so it's active water. The water is still popular today, but said property is no longer emphasized. Radioactive quakery. My, can you imagine a radioactive toothpaste in Germany? Yeah, can you imagine that people, every time a new thing is coming up from the science, yeah, people are being...
First if it was radioactivity and then it was fluoride then, huh? I don't think
radioactive
that's a good
being the wrong term. Yeah, it's being the wrong term.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's it. Radiophobia. Let's put it on here. I find it a good method of going into medical things in the future, to go into this quakery. Yeah. So people are also have a fear of ionizing radiation, what really is the correct term and not radioactivity. Yeah, so it is not active. Yeah, so it is not acting on its own, but it's just ionizing radiation. Example, including health patients refusing X-rays because they believe the radiation will kill them. Many doctors know that X-rays are not healthy. So it actually is according to the number of X-rays. Yeah, many people and many doctors, for most probably good reasons, are avoiding unnecessary radiations, X-rays. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Such as Steve Jobs, Apple, and Bob Marley, the reggae musician here, who both died after refusing radiation treatment for their cancer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to believe that. I believe that in the case of Bob Marley, there was something to it. Something smells fishy about Bob Marley's death. But that's just me. I have not looked it up yet. And yeah, given that significant doses of radiation are harmful, even deadly, so allegedly a radiation-induced cancer or acute radiation syndrome, the term is also used to describe the opposition to the use of nuclear technology. I think we have to take it with a grain of salt. I have not looked it up properly. I just want to mention it, that this will the stuff that we maybe will go also in the future in the science series. So I think that's so much interesting stuff out there where almost there is very little papers about, and everybody has a different opinion, but opinion is not necessarily true. So I don't have any opinion about that at the moment, but I find that very interesting. And that is also a part of the next part, because you see that radiophobia has some connections with Chernobyl. So radiophobia means you are afraid of radiation, or to be the victim of radiation, so to speak. So the term is from 1903, and also in Australian newspapers, 1930 and 40s, and the Science Service associated the terms with the fear of gamma radiation and the medical use of X-rays. And you won't find the truth in it, because I think that opinion and method and scientific results differ from time to time. So there is no absolute truth in medicine and science in general. It's just relative truth. It just depends on who you ask at what time of day. Yeah. So I know that they also wanted to find a cancer-inducing method of killing Castro, according to some authors, when it comes down to John F. Kennedy, a connection to Lee Harvey Oswald, etc., etc. And of course, when we go out to the Dragon 5 incident and everything else in the Bikini Snow fallout and in the atom bomb test trials in the Bikini Atoll. But it just goes on and on and on, because I think the most when we exclude Harrisburg, because Harrisburg was also a spoof, I think. I have seen so many documents on the Harrisburg incidents that there actually was no danger. It just was something being pulled off. But let's go into Chernobyl, because Chernobyl is by far the most interesting case. I don't know if you can remember, because I don't know how old are you, because that incident in the United Soviet Union was happening in the 1980s. In the former Soviet Union, many patients with negligible radioactive exposure after the Chernobyl disaster, which happened in 1986, displayed extreme anxiety about low-level radiation exposure and therefore developed many psychosomatic problems, with an increase in fatalistic alcoholism also being observed. Yeah, you see the alcoholism being very prominent in sports in the Soviet Union that time. No? Think of Boris Yeltsin, who was always been drunk when he was given an interview. Yeah, so we have to go to Chernobyl. Yeah, there we are. When the Chernobyl nuclear reactor exploded in 1986, experts predicted as many as 40,000 extra cancer deaths from the radiation spewed onto parts of what was then the Soviet Union. Friday is the 27th anniversary, so that is just from 2013. How many people has Chernobyl killed so far? We'll probably never know. That's partly because even 40,000 cancer deaths are less than 1% of the cancer mortality expected in the affected population. Ooh. Statistically, the deaths are undetectable. Even if they weren't, science usually can't say that a particular cancer was induced by radiation rather than something else. Aha. So it could also be connected to your food, for example. So thyroid cancer, a very rare disease in children that skyrocketed to nearly 7,000 cases in Belarus, in Russia, and Ukraine by 2005. But yeah, there is no doubt that radioactivity from Chernobyl caused them, including about a dozen fatalities, and that I am absolutely not convinced, and I will soon show you why. So this is just opinion, but who knows the real truth? Yeah, no one except one, and that is called God, and you can ask him later on, but not during the session here. So we can ask, or we know everything which happened on this earth and all the lies in the eternal life, I think. You can at least ask. Yeah, but that's a problem, that people really were fear of the radiation, and that's, in my humble opinion, that's part of a psyop of not only restricted to the United States of America, but on the global scheme. Yeah, think about the radiation fear in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah, so this is also psyops against whom? Against an enemy or against the own civilians. Yeah, I have a very prominent example about a psyop against the own civilians. That is during the LBJ running for president, 1964 it was. He made an advertisement, so-called days ago, who was counting down with a flower, and then out of a sudden an atom bomb or a mushroom appeared, and people were frightened to death, especially for their children. And he was then called Landslide Lynn because he had the biggest amount of voters, I think, in the entire voting history of the United States when it comes down to the presidency. Yeah, so fear absolutely is the best how to control and manipulate people and countries even. Yeah, so these psyops are not against another country necessarily, but also against the own population. Yeah? White psyop. Yeah, so this is interesting part, but you see that is just all only happening and possible with the help of the media and with the help of censorship, of course.
And the governments, of course.
And the governments, of course. Yeah? For more deliberate campaigns, they may use...
Right? Right, Michael? They're the main perpetrators, the governments.
Yeah.
They're the ones really pulling the strings in the media.
Talking about hierarchy here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so you see that you got an operation manual how to succeed into manipulating people into the right thinking. You need to have them as kind of trained dogs. Yeah, so they really know that what should they vote, what should they think, what should they do. Yeah, duck and cover. Yeah, you see, we have done that before, but I wanted to point it out, and I think that also Chernobyl serves a different purpose. And if you go into Chernobyl, it's really interesting. It's really interesting, and that's I have a quite obvious reason to present that in maybe the last session of the Science is the New Religion when it comes down to the atom. So let's just leave all the things, which is a military operation and psyop. The overall psychological operations of the United States, offered and covered, were to be under the policy direction of the US Department of State during peacetime and the early stages of war. During peacetime? Aha! I think there was never peace on this world. Peace for the wicked or what? So, yeah. So these are their means. Yeah, coordination is censorship. Yeah? So that is the situation that we have today. Yeah? Covered psychological warfare, censorship, and domestic information, and so that is involving all the military personnel.
You know, something popped in my mind, Michael, when you just said something there a little bit back. You were talking about, well, something about, you know, it doesn't matter what is true, it's what's perceived to be true that counts. You know, quote from Henry Kissinger or someone like that. You know, all they want to do is train us, you know, that it's a kind of a vanity. It's kind of a vain reality they want to propagandize, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they can fool us easily if we believe it, you know?
Yeah,
and as a society, it's easy to deceive us. Really, it is.
Yeah, you got here the 6th PSYOP battalion, the 7th PSYOP battalion, and 8 and 10th. And do you know what that reminds me of? I'll show you. Whoops. Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah?
Oh.
Choose your own programmation. Choose your own PSYOP.
Yeah.
You want...
That's right. Programming.
You want to be deceived with religion, press 1. Yeah? You want to be deceived with news, press 2. You want to be deceived with science, press 3. Etc.
With sports, press 4.
Yeah. Yeah. With chemistry, 5. With biology on 6. Etc.
Bread and circus on 7.
Yeah, it just choose your program. Yeah?
Oh, I'm sorry. Bread doesn't come out of the television screen. You have to go get that.
Yeah, but these are PSYOPs. Yeah, the best means to arrange a PSYOP is a television set, because it's in every household almost. If you don't succeed there, you use the internet. It's unbelievable.
Well, now it's interactive television, so yeah, it's practically an internet in your television now. So
it's in everywhere. It's in a Gulf War 1991.
Oh,
it's everywhere.
Yeah, that was a horrible time.
And what they don't tell you is that just also in the current situation. The war on terror. What is the war on terror? It is not the war on Afghanistan or the war on a certain religion. It's a war on terror, on the terrorists. So it is not defined which age, with sex.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Nation. Yeah, it is just a general term on terror. And also it's very interesting when you know that the first terrorist was Lucifer. Huh?
Michael, did I ever send you that?
I can't answer that question unless I know what you mean.
Did I ever send you the Oxford Dictionary definition of terrorism?
No, you sent me the Encyclopedia Britannica once in a while, but
I'm going to send it to you right now. I got it somewhere here. I'll pull it up and send it over. Because you got to look at this. I mean, this is just real jaw dropper. It'll just take me a minute here. I'll find it here.
Okay, so then, in the meantime, let's speak about gaslighting. Is a colloquialism loosely defined as making someone question their own reality. So, people are living in a matrix, but they think that is the reality. Yeah. So their program for them is the reality. And that's very interesting when it comes down to artificial so-called intelligence, or when it comes down to transhumanism. That means that when Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum says that in 2030 you will own nothing and be happy, and maybe he means that metaverse, not universe, but metaverse. That means that you are living in a digitally created artificial environment where you can be everything, where you can be beautiful, where you can have everything when you are driving a big car and have a luxurious lifestyle whatsoever. And so that's a false narrative. You have to tell a false story, and so what better example to bring than the Bible with a false eschatology?
Right, gaslighting. Yeah, I always wondered what is this term all about, because I remember hearing about it a while back, and I thought that's a
then you got this
really
is the official definition, making someone question their own reality. And you see, if you are a sheep and you follow the masses, then you don't have an own reality, but you accept the reality that the majority of people are living in.
Right.
So you don't have your own character or your own persona, but you're just a copy of the other sheeple.
Yes. And that's really the saddest part of all of it, is that the sheeple really stand for a indoctrinated soul that doesn't have the ability to think critically and get outside of that box, as far as I understand it.
Yeah, and you see here very obviously that term is derived from the 1944 film Gaslight, which is a story about a husband who uses trickery. Well, who's the tricker? Who's the big trickery from the Bible? To convince his wife that she is mentally unwell in order to steal from her. Shall we put that into perspective of Genesis 3? When the serpent, as the representative of the spirit of Antichrist or the spirit of the serpent, is convincing Adam's wife, Adam, not Atom, Adam's wife, that she is unwell in not knowing the difference between good and evil, and therefore he steals her eternal life from her. Maybe that's a little bit exaggerated, I don't know, but it just comes to my mind at the moment.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the war on terrorism, check out that photo I just sent you, Michael.
Yeah, I do so in a minute. I just want to back up my claim here in the 1611 Bible. So that means that I've just, before I go to the explanation, I just want to see that here.
Genesis.
Yeah. So that. So it was a kind of gaslighting. So the serpent said to the woman, "You shall not surely die. Your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods." And she said, "Oh, that's a great deal. I just have to eat and I'm just like God. I can do so." And so what is that other than gaslighting? And it has something to do with trickery.
Right. Absolutely.
Trickery. The serpent trickery said to a woman, to convince his wife, your eyes shall be opened, ye shall be as gods. To convince his wife that she is mentally unwell. Of course she's unwell, because she does not want to be at Eve. You see that she is the lowest in hierarchy there. There is God. There are cherubs. There is Adam. And not talking about the animals, but and then it's Eve. And Eve is just a woman. She's been taken from the man. And and the serpent is trying to convince her, you can step to the biggest, you can have the biggest step in the hierarchy. You shall not become as a man, as worthy as a man, for example, in the hierarchy. It's not only speaking of the hierarchy, but you can become as gods. And she says, great. I just want to not to be just a mere woman. Yeah, but I want to be something special. I want to be like a god. I want to be seen as a goddess. I want to have people who are just following me. Yeah, so have followers on YouTube or on Facebook or what else. And I think that is very interesting when I compare that to the Bible, Genesis 3, Brett.
Well, yeah, I think today we call them influencers, don't we?
Sure. Yeah. And sorry that I have read that part, but I just want to
no, please
compare once and for all. You see that trickery, kopieren, so copy, yeah. Serpent, trickery, yeah. Convince his wife, yeah. Said unto the woman, of course, he has to speak, yeah. So that in order to convince the wife, yeah, that she is mentally unwell, yeah. Because he shall know as God. Mentally unwell means that she is not complete. Yeah, so there is so much to learn, so much to know, and she is as dumb as yeah, because she does not know the difference between good and evil, which she was longing for, in order to steal from her. Yeah, of course.
The tree of life. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that is my comparison in that case.
There you go.
Huh? So, let's move on. So that was gaslighting. The term is now simply defined as to make someone question their reality. In broad terms. The Oxford University Press named gaslighting as a runner-up in their list of the most popular new words of 2018. That is not a good omen. That is not a good omen. Yeah, it's also in clinical literature.
Just a reminder, Michael. Let's get to that photo I sent you before.
Yeah, I do now. I just want to finish that article. Yeah, gaslighting involves two parties: the gaslighter who persistently puts forth a false narrative, so the snake, or the serpent, or Satan, and the gaslighter who struggles to maintain the individual autonomy. Yeah, so it's one who does and one who obeys. Yeah, slave and master and slave. Mm-hmm. So that's it in a nutshell. Yeah. So in popular culture you can go endlessly into all the things, but yeah, and that's
and
also
then you
part.
Have memes and what's this meme culture all about?
Yeah. So we're coming now to the explanation that my beloved brother Brett has contributed here. It's called terrorism, some ism. I have to call Daryl. A system of terror, government by intimidation, the system of the terror. See. A policy intended to strike with terror those against whom it is adopted the fact of terrorizing or condition of being terrorized. Terrorism, a system, a government
by intimidation.
I want to go to Ezekiel 28. You know, the famous
yes.
musician.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's there in 28 when we talked about the satanic music agenda. With the anointed cherub, which of course is Lucifer - Satan, God speaks about thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Yeah, in the spirit of the serpent. And now look very carefully here. Maybe you could read the verses 17 to 19, and then I think it's very clear.
Okay, will do.
It speaks of Lucifer.
Yep. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. What is that?
Yeah.
Is that traffic?
Yeah.
Therefore,
yeah.
I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee. I shall devour thee. I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more.
Yeah, and there you got the terror.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that's Ezekiel chapter 28, which we have talked lots and lots about in the music agenda, because it is about the anointed cherub, which was in Eden, the garden of God, and then he was perfect until iniquity was found in them, and then he made merchandise.
Oh, now think of this. Government by intimidation, Michael.
Yeah.
Government by Satan.
Yeah.
Because who intimidated Eve in the garden? Satan did. So he's going to intimidate all of us too, through his minions. And we actually vote for these people? Yeah, we do. We ask for our own destruction, don't we?
Yeah, and especially it's not only the destruction, it's about psychological gaslighting, it's about your eternal life. Yeah.
Yes.
So the only goal is not to destroy the body of Satan, but to destroy the soul, that nobody can get to eternal life, because it's also forbidden for him. Yeah. So, yeah. He's the one who tries, who's behind all the governments of the world, according to 1 Samuel 8. So that's all fear-mongering, what's all in the atom and radiation, and all is fear-mongering. Yeah, you see that it's very hard to find any substance in it. We have seen people who are eating uranium and all the stuff. So where is the truth in it? It is, at least it is absolutely absolutely exaggerated. Yeah, that's meet or make that compromise, because we can't prove it. Yeah, but actually they are controlling the people by fear when it comes down, at least when it comes down to the atom bombs, and this is a part of the campaign of Lyndon B. Johnson 1964. Yeah, so that is it's really awful to threaten all the people, especially parents, of course, and routinely used in psychological warfare for the purpose of influencing a target population. Yeah, be it globally, so to speak. Be it globally. And now we're coming to our maybe last chapter of that atom script. It's the Chernobyl atomic nuclear reactor in the area of Kiev, which is in Ukraine. So this is the fourth generation energy fear-mongering on nuclear power. Yeah? So I said, okay, that's very interesting to combine the dots here. Very interesting. And I was remembered of another 9/11 happening. It's very interesting in the Genesis 9. Would you care to read it, Brett?
Sure, Michael, yes. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth.
Yeah, we know what it's all about. It's about the covenant that God made after the flood with Noah and his sons.
Yes.
Or all the 8 people. That there will never be a flood. Yeah, and of course it will be the next time. We know that from different chapters.
Yes, this is the old covenant, correct? And the new covenant is the one that Jesus made with the shedding of his blood at the cross. The one and only sufficient sacrifice for all time.
Yeah, my point is that God was the creator of the flood and not mankind. And so that is in the same kind that in the next time the planet, so-called planet, Earth, will be destroyed by fire. Yeah, but also according to God's will. Yeah, so it is God who's ordering nature to act or react or what else. Yeah, to point out to do some action. And that's my point. You see, that's very interesting that all the 9/11 things are very interesting in the Bible. Genesis 9/11, it's Revelation 9/11. It's interesting. Yeah. So this is Kraftwerk, radioactivity. Interesting enough, it's like a Trinity symbol here with the sun in the center. And so they are putting out the propaganda that there was a nuclear threat in Harrisburg as well as in the other parts. Yeah, so that is the song text. Yeah, Sellafield, Chernobyl. Yeah, it's a different writing here. Chernobyl. Yeah, will cause death and skin cancer. Yeah, so that is officially propaganda from Kraftwerk. Chernobyl, Harrisburg, Sellafield, Hiroshima. And you can doubt everything that has been said here from Kraftwerk. Yeah? Because they are maybe experts in music, but are not experts in nuclear reaction and radioactivity. Yeah. So when I go down to the myth of the nuclear disaster, coming down to Harrisburg, Chernobyl, Fukushima, etc., we will not go into Fukushima because Fukushima is kind of a rip-off of Chernobyl. Maybe I'll do a session about Fukushima, I'm not sure, but I just focus on Chernobyl. Usually people on the mass media will say that it's a disaster. Chernobyl is a part of a triad of nuclear disasters. Yeah? Speaking of disaster, triad, yeah, Trinity, Harrisburg, Chernobyl, Fukushima. Yeah, so that is what officially has been talked to the media, that there was a radioactive or a nuclear emergency. That's very interesting. So for me, Fukushima actually is one key element of Fukushima is that they want to get rid of atomic power plants to restrict power for the households, that there will be some kind of blackouts. That's my inner belief at the moment, but I can't argue with anybody about it because I have not researched that fact. So coming back to Chernobyl, fear-mongering. Because in Fukushima there was no reactor explosion, no nuclear explosion, only negligible release of radiation close to zero. So speaking as a byproduct here of Fukushima, there are certain interesting studies who are claiming that there was no reactor explosion and no nuclear explosion. And that's not the first time that I heard that some restricted areas are not that dangerous as been described by some certain states. Yeah. So this is just there are so many websites, and I show you some, but just don't do your own research. Yeah, I'm not looking for Fukushima at the moment because I don't want to have thousands of sessions of incidences, but I just want to compare everything at the Bible usually. So I will show you some pages, and then we go further along down the road to Chernobyl. Yeah. So there are really interesting websites and interesting links. Yeah, you can copy and paste, or at least take a screenshot of them, and then you know where I was looking, where I have been looking. Yeah, so it's really interesting to go into this, but you know that you've been betrayed all your life. Yeah, starting with Christmas. Yeah, so
yeah.
so don't think for just 1 minute that when you have reached a certain age that you'll be free from any doctrine just because you are an adult now or 50 years of age or so. Yeah, so let's get it on. Where is the nitty-gritty here? Where is the nitty-gritty here? Yeah, that's what I said. There's no radioactive X-rays. It's called ionisierende Strahlung, so ionized radiation. Yeah, this is very key to understand. So yeah, that's like what I mentioned, Christmas. That's no coincidence. I just looked it up here from an article. We had just run a Christmas party at the observatory, and then you know what kind of sciences there are, huh? That's really interesting, huh? Christmas party at the observatory. Yeah, Santa Claus arrived mysteriously through the slit of the telescope dome. Yeah, sure. So let's look it up. 675. Aha. So, Chernobyl, yeah. So you see that the city of Chernobyl is not famous for his landscape, for his animals and inhabitants or his architecture. It's just famous for one incident, and that is the nuclear Chernobyl disaster. What's the meaning of disaster? Let's look it up in etymology online. Who's faster, Brad or me? Etymology. No, I think that at this time on this evening, Brad would be faster than me. Etym.online.org. Let's look it up, what the meaning of disaster actually is. Disaster. Yeah. Anything that befalls a ruinous or distressing nature, an unfortunate event, especially a sudden or great misfortune. Disastro, ill start. Aha. Displeased. Dis astro. Oh, look, has something to do with the star or planet. Dis astra, dis astro. Latin astrum, Greek astron, star. Ah, yeah. So,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, really, huh? That's really
It
funny.
is in a way, because you think about, the stars falling from heaven, meaning the angels falling from heaven, meaning disaster. That's what I get from it. Oh, it's Latin. Oh, yeah, right. The language of the Antichrist. Okay.
Yeah, unlucky
So
star.
let's speak Antichrist, Michael. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It means the stars fell from heaven. Yeah. Right back in Book
You
of
know
Revelation.
why I don't believe anything that's put out in front of me, that I instantly am searching for a religious component in them. And you find the religious component in the assassination of John F. Kennedy, as well in the so-called nuclear incident or disaster in Chernobyl. Maybe you will be surprised, but maybe not, because I have prepared something for you. Look at this. It's coming from a video. It's called Explaining the Fate, Ukraine, Russia, Fatima, What is Heaven Telling Us? 1 year to the minute after the accident at Chernobyl, somebody or some priest is claiming here, Mary appeared.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Which happened 1 year earlier to the exact, on the 9th and April 26th, and exactly the 1 anniversary of Chernobyl. Yeah, so they had an apparition of Mary. So can it be it has something to do with religion there? And that got me into thinking. Aha. I said, okay, we look it up, because I was doing that research months ago. So, apparition Mary. 1 year later means 1987. Let's look it up. List of Marian apparitions. Ah, Our Lady of Roshiv and her 1987 apparitions in Ukraine. Brad, where's Chernobyl?
Very close to Ukraine.
Very close in Ukraine. Yeah, sure. And so they had the apparition of Mary in Ukraine 1 year after
34 years ago,
terrible
on April 20
incident, disaster in...
Wait. You're telling me Chernobyl's in Ukraine?
Yes, it is in Ukraine.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're welcome. You see, you're welcome.
Get that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You see, Chernobyl is in Ukraine. Yeah, country Ukraine in Kiev Oblast. Yeah, so in the northern parts of Ukraine.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why Chernobyl became the site of the Battle of Chernobyl, and Russian forces occupied the city between 24th February and 2nd April after its capture. It was reported, rumor has it, legend tells, myth has it, that radiation levels began rising. Like a rising star. Disaster. So interesting, huh? That this small town in the north area of Ukraine has some nuclear plant which had a problem in 1986, which troubled the entire world, so to speak, or at least who? At least Europe. Aha. So then I came across the road and I said, okay, that's interesting. There was an apparition of Mary in Ukraine. So in the exact same country where the Chernobyl incident is. And exactly 1 year after that incident. So Mary appeared. Our Lady protect the people of Ukraine. So where is your lady in 2022? Has it something to do with Pope Francis maybe? Because he was praying to Mary about the Ukraine too. And if I remember well, that is Pope Francis is the name. Pope Francis, a Jesuit, by the way. Pope Francis, Ukraine, prayer or blessing. I can't remember so much. Yeah. Pope recites special prayer for end to war in Ukraine. Yeah, you see, in March this year, March 2022. Yeah, he was praying Pope's peace prayer for Ukraine because Fatima prophecy. So that is a religious background speaking of the war which happens at this very moment between officially the Russia on the one hand and Ukraine on the other hand. And Pope Francis is involved in that. Yeah. He recalls the Fatima prophecy. Yeah, what does the Fatima prophecy reveal? Can you know that from memory, Brett, or shall I recite that?
Go ahead and recite it, because I can't.
Yeah, because in the prophecies of Fatima, I think it was the second prophecy of Fatima, prophecy, it's something about Russia. Holy Mary prophesied Russia's war as a sign of the apocalypse. Ah, yeah. Yeah. So the Fatima prophecy comes down to Russia. I have not looked it up especially, but I know that very well that Fatima says that to ensure peace, Russia has to be Catholicized. And what's the prominent religion of Russia today?
Oh, Eastern Orthodox.
Eastern Orthodox. Eastern Orthodox means they don't agree with the, what to say?
Full communion.
And the infallibility. What is it?
Yeah.
Infallibility of the Pope.
Correct, yes.
Yeah. So what does the Pope preach for? That Russia will fall under his feet. Or to his feet. Yeah. So that has something to do with Russia. You see, it has something to do with also with that was the picture I was looking for. You see here our current Pope Francis in front of a Mary statue. Yeah? Speaking of images and idols. Yeah? Pope Francis will consecrate Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary on Friday the 25th of March during the celebration of Penance, that he will preside over the 5 p.m. at St. Peter's Basilica as prophesied by Sister Lucia in August 1941. Speaking of the Fatima prophecy. Yeah, 3 secrets. Oh, did Jesus Christ do anything in secret?
No.
September 1939, so at the beginning of the Second World War, Russia was an atheist evil empire. And things are repeating. History is repeating because all of the West think that Russia is an evil empire again. Yeah. You see, Russia is the enemy and he has to be Catholicized. The Pope will just strive for peace, and the Pope will be the peace prophet, or the prophet of peace, or what else, yeah, Prince of Peace, or what else you would like to call or to see it, yeah. You see that I would not wonder if someday in the near future the papacy, the Vatican, or whomsoever will come up with a great plan to discuss and to negotiate between Ukraine and Russia, and all the world are wondering after the Pope how he can succeed to bring peace in this wicked world. Huh? That's all I need to say to this. You see that you can go into the Fatima prophecy. Yeah, it's much of the things are about Russia actually. Fatima prophecy. I hope that I think the Swiss cows are a little bit too lazy today, so we go to Google. Yeah, it's dark outside. You'll see that.
I always get a laugh out of the Swiss cows because I know Jörg and I did a reading long time ago from Martin Luther where he was speaking of the Swiss cows. So I'll always get a laugh out of that.
At least, I don't go to the official prophecy of Fatima now, or the secrets. Yeah, secret comes from secret. Yeah, secreta moneta, secret. Yeah, something secret. Secret societies, secret government, and secret also in German. Secret means secret. Means the thing that the snake is spitting. The snake is spitting secret. Yeah, that's a secret. That the poison is secret.
Secreta moneta.
Secreta moneta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember what this is from the reading of the book Code Word Babylon?
Yeah. And now it comes suddenly into my mind, and I think about that maybe Madonna knows something about the Secreta Moneta is been hidden in the Isla Bonita. Just ask somebody, what did the Lady of Fatima say about Russia? So this is general knowledge. This is not prophecy, maybe in a nutshell. So Our Lady of Fatima demanded Russia to be consecrated to His Immaculate Heart, the Mother of God. Oh, the Mother of God, my. Huh? The Mother of Jesus, the earthly Mother of Jesus, yeah? So that is all about Russia. So I'm not wondering that Russia is now involved in a war. And I'm not wondering that the Pope is praying to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, because all works out with the Fatima prophecy. And I lately had a conversation with a university professor and I didn't mention it. Yeah, shame on me. So I'm not surprised for any bit, yeah, that in 1987 there was a Marian apparition to the Ukraine. And I would not be surprised if soon there will be a Marian apparition somewhere down in Russia or somewhere in Moscow or somewhere in Ukraine as well. I would not be surprised, because all is Fatima prophecy. It has to fulfill, yeah, that people will believe then in the Immaculate Heart of Mary. I don't know what kind of Immaculate Heart she has, because Jesus had brothers and sisters, but it's just her heart, huh? It's just that I'm such a close-minded person, it seems. So that's my 2 cents about it. Yeah. So if you go down the route to Chernobyl, you don't think for just a moment that it's a coincidence that this nuclear accident happened there. Please don't think about that. It's also very interesting to know, I made a German session about it, that the colors they used in that COVID-19 thing were blue and yellow. And that's the exact colors of the county or country of Ukraine. But that's a long time ago. I did that in some of the Kennedy sessions. I know that. So let's go into that disaster. Where is the disaster when you need it? Where is that disaster? Nuclear power plant, Chernobyl. See Chernobyl disaster. So let's go to the misfortune of the stars, called disaster. A nuclear accident that occurred on 26th of April 1986 at number 4 reactor in Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Pripyat. Yeah. It is one of only 2 nuclear energy accidents rated at 7 in maximum severity on the International Nuclear Event Scale. Wow. Oh, it was a pyramid bread. Ooh. The other being Fukushima nuclear disaster, where the area is restricted, but no one has died. Or not a significant amount of people, actually. Okay. 18 billion rubles, 666, great. So then let's look it up. I'm not going into the technical data here because there was an explosion, but maybe that was also on purpose, because of course that looks very destructive here. And if you think about people are being terrified of nuclear waste and nuclear radiation, they would be terrified. And I know that we had in Germany, we had a very severe foreign minister, I think it was, who was not warning us. He said it was absolutely harmless, but you're not allowed to consume any swines from Bavarian forests in Germany up to this very day because of any radiation. But, and it's a big but, I look it up, Wolke, which means cloud, Chernobyl in German spelling, Chernobyl 1986. Yeah, and you see the imminent danger. Oh, there it is. Yeah, you see that was the German news presenting us. There was an incident in the Ukrainian nuclear reactor Chernobyl, and that is the atomic cloud here. That's the radiation. Yeah, to Finland, Sweden, Denmark, East Republic of Germany, Poland, and here is the little Germany. Yeah. So there we were afraid, and I said, we are really lucky in Germany that we're not affected by the atomic cloud. Yeah, of course, in 1986 I took everything serious. I was not that educated, and yeah, I did not know any better, huh? Yeah. So that's the first super-GAU, yeah? Größte anzunehmende Unfall, which means the greatest to expected accident. Yeah, so you see that. Yeah, that is the some of the final clouds there. Yeah, starting from Ukraine. Yeah, and it's affecting Middle Europe and Germany, Austria, etc. So let's get back to the script. Yeah, so if you really think that this Mary apparition in Ukraine has just appeared by accident, no, it has not been prepared by accident. These things can happen, these things will happen, and these things will happen more frequently in the future. That's my prophecy. Yeah, because Satan and his angels, yeah, called disaster, disastro, yeah, disfortune of astros, so the unlucky angels or the fallen angels, they have certain tools to influence people, and of course they have also certain tools to influence and to confuse people. Yeah, and one of the tools are the so-called merry apparitions. You don't think for just one moment that that did not happen in reality. You really think you can fool 50,000 people at once or what? Yeah, I think they are just quite real, but these are just apparitions. These are just lying wonders. You can look at it in the Bible, Brett, maybe in the meantime. Yeah, these are signs and wonders, but these are also signs of wonders, and this is no wonder, because Satan himself disguises as an angel of light. But I'm sorry, Brett, I can't recall the biblical verse from memory, because I'm not that good on that. I know some verses, but I can't recall that now, verse and exact spelling of that verse, Brett. You have to help me out there.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying here. Yeah. Let's see. Are you thinking in terms of
lying wonders?
Matthew? Or
yeah, sort of, yes. I think it was Matthew.
Matthew 24:24. There shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Yep.
And then in Mark 13:22, false Christs. For false Christs and false prophets shall rise and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. Mm-hmm. And John 4, verse 48. And Jesus said unto him, except ye signs and wonders, ye will not believe. Oh, that's an interesting...
Please. That was Mark, what was it? Mark, and then was 13:32 or what?
Oh, we had both Matthew and Mark and John.
Yeah, I can't keep up.
And it's in Acts as well. Yes.
So I can't keep up with your speed. That's my problem here on the screen. So Acts, Acts which chapter?
I'm sorry, what?
Acts, which chapter in Acts?
It's in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 19. Yeah, sorry, I'm not on the same page you are. And that is, verse 19 in chapter 2. And I will show wonders in heaven above and signs in the earth beneath, blood and fire and vapor of smoke. Oh, and that's interesting because that ties in with the smoke in the temple in the book of Revelation. I believe it's chapter, I want to say 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. I was just in that with this seventh vial here.
Mm. It could be that the voice will be distorting because the volume was too high because of the phone call we had in the meantime. So
sure.
Yeah. So, but that here, that shows wonders in heaven above and signs on the earth, and so that's right. But that is coming out of the mouth of Peter, I think, at the moment here. So, but I was referring actually to the lying wonders.
Lying wonders.
Lying wonders, yeah.
Lying wonders. That's different.
That is 2 Thessalonians, You see, 2 Thessalonians 2:9.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, right. Lying wonders, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
Yeah, what is an apparition of Mary other than a lying wonder? Because Mary is not resurrected. She's dead. Mary can't appear, right? Only Jesus is in heaven. So when you see an apparition of Mary,
apparitions can appear and deceive, yes, because and no wonder Satan is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, his ministers are also transformed into ministers of righteousness.
Yeah, That's my point. You see, that is a working of Satan, these Marian apparitions. Yeah, the Bible does not speak of Mary to be a representative of Jesus. The Bible does not speak about Mary being resurrected, and the Bible does not speak about Mary being in heaven today or in this moment. Yeah, so she bore another children after Jesus Christ. Yeah, she bore brothers and sisters. The Bible speaks about that. Yeah, so she was not a virgin after that. Yeah, and she's not the mother of God too. She's the earthly mother of the Savior. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, she's the mother of Jesus, but she's not the mother of God. Yeah, we can fix that now, but not in that session here. Yeah, what Jesus Christ actually resembles is the Savior, is the chosen one, is the anointed one, and Jesus Christ is the only begotten Son of God. That's what he is. But it's immaculate conception, and with Mary, you see that it's not a feat of Mary. Yeah, so she's also a chosen one, but that doesn't the Bible tell you that in the first commandment that you shall have no other gods beside me? Yeah, where does the Bible speak? Jesus speaks explicitly in Matthew that you should pray to the Father and not to pray to Mary. Rosary.
Well, and this is the trouble, is that the traditions of men have completely taken over that church. Actually, all the churches, more or less, because you got to consider denominational Christendom, trying to promote its dogmas and its different problems. And yeah, it's just a real quagmire, Michael. It's a religious quagmire that we're entering into in this discussion. But the fact of the matter is, we all have decisions to make in this realm, and whether we make them or not, that's still, isn't there like a lyric to a song? I forget now who wrote the song, but if you decide not to make a choice, it's still a decision of yours. If you decide you're not going to make a choice, you've still made a choice.
For me, the most important matter is that Chernobyl is in Ukraine. And now we got a Ukraine-Russian war, where the Pope is involving himself into getting into prayer to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And when I see all this so-called coincidences here, then it convinced me that it's just another line on the agenda. And this agenda has started thousands of years ago, actually. It not started with the Jesuits. The Jesuits were just a counter-reformation, but the Antichrist spirit was still in the working when Jesus Christ was on the earth. And even before that, because Nimrod means he who rebels against God. And the rebellion against God did not start on earth, she did start in heaven.
Right.
So the Antichrist means against Christ. It means Satan, actually, because Satan wants to, as in his function of being the light bearer, he did not obey. He wanted to be seen as the light bearer, as the one who's bringing education and enlightenment, illumination, or whatsoever for himself. So he's anti-Christ. He's against Christ. He did not obey, and he wanted to be worshipped on his own. Yeah. So that's the reason. That's the first and foremost conclusion that you have to draw.
This is the trouble, though, Michael, is that when you start mixing the doctrines, and this is what happens, by the way, in the Protestant realm, you start mixing the doctrines, the good with the bad, and then what do you end up with? Confusion. Welcome to Babylon 2.0. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Yeah, that's our church system, our Protestant church system.
I have a hard time with the word Protestant.
Yeah,
Because
you should.
because the problem is that, of course, people do not know what they are protesting against. But if they know that they are protesting against the Pope, it is not correct. Yeah, they are protesting actually against the papacy, because the problem is that the Protestant usually means somebody who has been in the doctrine of Luther and his companies or his colleagues, Zwingli and all the people. But that's not also correct, because Luther was a bit Catholic in belief as well. He never criticized Mary, up to my knowledge. So according to my knowledge. But that's not the point. If you are really a Protestant, you're not protesting against.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not protesting against the Pope. Yeah, you have to at least protest against the papacy in general. And you don't have only to protest against the papacy in general. You have to protest against the papacy as the representation of Satan on this earth.
Fair enough. And, here's the bigger picture of Martin Luther was he started that wheel going. He started to question the doctrines of the monstrous Roman Church. And he toppled a few things, but could he handle all of it?
No,
I don't
because
think so.
He was not supposed to do so, because otherwise the deadly wound would not heal.
Michael. The problem was that people didn't take that work on their shoulders and say, okay, now it's time to go to the next problem. And just as you pointed out, with other deeply, deeply indoctrinated doctrines such as Mary and things like that, and many other things like Sunday. How about just Sunday? How about Christmas? How about Easter? How about Ishtar? Yeah, all these things. It did not happen that way. I think we're only in a position now where we have such access to such vast amounts of knowledge that we can really take a look and take a clear assessment of everything. And there's all these wonderful books that have been written throughout the centuries on these subjects too, like the Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop, for one example. It's a very difficult book to study in the sense for us that aren't aware that all these pagan influences have been going on for thousands of years behind our backs, and then it's just absolutely overwhelming, Michael.
Yeah, my point is that if you only protest against the Pope, then you're not going the entire path. Yeah, because you see that in the book of Revelation,
You're not correct.
Yeah,
keep going.
In Revelation 13:3, it's been mentioned, quote, "And I saw one of his heads that it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." So it was not supposed to be mortally wounded. Yeah, so Martin Luther was just being used, in the terms of prophecy in the book of Revelation as the one who struck the beast, but he could not wound the beast or to kill the beast, and that was not supposed to happen. So that was therefore the intention of reforming a church futile from the beginning, because if that would have happened, it would have been against the prophecy in the book of Revelation. So,
that's right.
Quite frankly, if you protest against the Pope, I think that you don't have it correct. And I'm not saying that I have it correct. It is just my opinion and my knowledge at this very moment.
Right, because it's the papacy. It's the entire unit.
Yeah, but the papacy is also only a representation, which you see here in Revelation 13:3. It's just the beast. It's just a representation of the dragon, and the dragon is a spiritual animal depicting the heavenly revolution of Lucifer and his followers. Speaking of a third of the angels. So actually, what you are protesting is not against the Pope or the papacy, because these are just representatives.
It's the beast.
Yeah, you have to You have to protest the beast and the spirit after the beast. Yeah, it's like the king of Tyre, where the spirit Lucifer-Satan was after in Ezekiel 28. You have to protest the Pope, you have to protest the papacy, and you have to protest the power behind the papacy. Yeah, that is Satan. You have to protest Satan, because if you take a stance for Jesus Christ, you automatically protest Satan. Yeah, because Satan wants to have the seat of God, the Almighty God, even not only the seat of Jesus Christ, sitting in the at the right side of the Lord, but he wanted to play God, Almighty God, for himself, like the Almighty. But what does he speak about Isaiah 14?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so you have to protest Satan. That in the end, that's my first of all. You see that. Evil, satanic forces, Antichrist spirit was in the working thousands of years before the Jesuits even approached.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's just all the stuff about all these Jesuits. These are just the earthly representative of that Antichrist spirit.
Yeah,
but this is not the original. This is not the original revolution. The original revolution, they took place in heaven. And in Isaiah 14:12, it's been said, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit up also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend. This is the key thing here. Please, could you read it? I don't want to take anything away of your...
Right, Michael. It's Isaiah 14:14, correct?
Yeah.
It is, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Yeah, like the Most High. So look alike. Yeah, the God of this world, so to speak. Yeah, I will be like the Most High. Yeah, I want to be seen as God.
Well, not only look alike, but doctrine alike too, Mike. Look, it's a replacement for Christ. It's more subtle than being against Christ. That's what I have to bring to this. It's more subtle than being against Christ. It's not so direct. He's deceiving the people that actually could have faith in the true Christ. That's what gets us so upset.
Yeah.
He's taking good people like my mother and my brother and completely warping them to his purpose through that system that has dominated over the Reformation with the Counter-Reformation. I think that's what gets us upset.
Look where the word protest comes from. It's on Latin. Protestari means to declare publicly, testify, protest. Yeah, so that means that if you take a testimony for Jesus Christ, automatically you are protesting Satan, because Satan is the adversary to Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Might sound a little bit far-fetched, but that's just my understanding at the moment. You see that if you don't have to protest the Pope, you just have to be, you just have to live and act according to the gospel, according to Christ's teaching and the commandments. Of course, he is coming to fulfill.
Well, it's also protesting against the government of the Pope, because the Pope came to joint session of Congress here in the United States in 2015. And what did they have to say?
Yeah, even he came also in 1965, it was, I think.
They were all applauding him.
Yeah, 1965 to the United Nations already. So 2 years after Kennedy was assassinated. Yeah.
What does that tell you? The kings of the earth are taking counsel against us.
Yeah, against the Lord and his anointed.
That's the point. I'm not saying I'm anointed, but whomever the Lord anointed.
Yeah, that is the original verse of Psalms 2, I think it was. I'm just citing from the Bible here. That was not my own conclusion. I'm just citing from the Bible.
That's correct.
Yeah, so...
Absolutely right. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? That's a good question. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
Yeah,
That's the United Nations right there.
Yeah, and now you know why they want to save this so-called planet, which is not a planet. Yeah, they want to save the planet because that's the only place where they rule.
Yep, that's right. Save the planet. There you go. That just sums it all up.
Save our dominion.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Save Lucifer's dominion.
Yeah.
That's what.
And what does that have to do with Chernobyl? Well, look at this.
Ugh. Really?
Really?
This is art, huh?
So far, yeah. And this is a reference to the book of Revelation, I would say.
Where is this?
Yeah.
That photo?
Yeah, that photo. Where is that? Yeah. So take a lucky guess.
Chernobyl?
Yeah, correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So in the book of Revelations, they speak about several
mockery.
Trumpets, and this is an angel carrying a trumpet.
Yeah, trumpets. Yeah, I'm on them right now.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell you the entire time, that it has something to do with the Bible.
Wow.
Yeah, so it has absolutely no sense in getting into the details of what occurred at the power plant and which reactor and what water boiled and what else. Yeah, because it's a religious thing.
Aha.
It's a ritual. It's like a Kennedy thing. It's a ritual. It's like the 11th of September. It's a ritual. It's Chernobyl. It's a ritual. It's a religious ritual. It has something to do also with the prophecy of Fatima. It's concerning Russia and Ukraine. Uh-huh.
So Revelation 1:10, should I read it?
Yeah, you should.
Okay. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day, and I heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. And then Revelation 4:1. After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. The first voice which I heard, as it were, of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up thither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter. In Revelation 8:2, and I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. In Revelation 8:6, and the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. In Revelation 8:13, and behold, and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound. Oh, like the 3 angels' messages in the book of Revelation chapter, was it 14?
It was a later chapter, but I can't recall the number.
I think it might be. Yeah. Revelation 9:14 reads, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Okay, here we go. Really interesting. Revelation 18:22. And the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee.
And that's of course the Babylon has fallen, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
The 7th vial, yeah.
Yeah, the 7th vial. In the book of Revelation, there is also 7 trumpet, not trump,
right?
Not trumpet.
7 trumpets, yeah.
Yeah. Because the trumpet is an instrument, a tool for the service of the Lord, for just the feast. And where is the seventh trumpet in the book of Revelation?
Yeah, I think it's 14.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up at the moment. Oh, it must be on the second page then. My. 4:1, no, 8:13. Other voices of the trumpet. Where is that verse? Okay, then let's look it up in the file here. Huh? From endtime.com I found that article. 5 of the 7 trumpets that signify the end of the age have come to pass. With only 2 left to occur, we must look to the Bible to understand what to expect. Now, the first 2 trumpets in Revelation 8:7, apocalyptic vision, the triggering event of the sounding of the first trumpet. Yeah, so that means that hail and fire mixed with blood falling on the ground, etc. So the trumpet is about the book of Revelation. I think that's a common thing. Huh? So the third trumpet, and now it gets interesting. In a podcast discussion, The 7 Trumpets, Irvin Baxter told listeners of his understanding, so its opinion of course, of the sounding of the third trumpet which occurred during the nuclear disaster at Chernobyl. In Revelation 8:10-11, the prophet explains that the third trumpet will sound before a star called wormwood will fall and affect a third of the waters. In 1995, God prompted Irvin to research, you see you have to take it with a grain of salt, the Chernobyl disaster that occurred in Ukraine in 1986, whereupon he learned that Chernobyl means wormwood in Russian. Surprised?
Mm-hmm. I've known about this for a long time, actually.
Okay. Furthermore, the nuclear radiation that emitted from the destroyed power plant contaminated more than 33% of the water supply in Europe and Western Asia, killing thousands and affecting hundreds of thousands of other citizens with diseases caused by the radiation. Well, you can't prove that fact. But what you can see is that they have a museum. And you see the museum, we know from the 6th floor museum in Dallas Dealey Plaza, Freemason Temple. We know that the museum is a temple of the muses, so it has something to do with Greek mythology, or the gods, quote unquote. So the museum for the Chernobyl catastrophe. Yeah, so there is a complex called Star Wormwood for the Chernobyl catastrophe. Yeah, so that is an angel with the trumpet, of course. Yeah, so that's where is that disaster photography? Yeah, so Chernobyl means in English Chernobylon from etc. Chernobyl is the Ukrainian word for mugwort, a common name for a herbaceous plant. Yeah, that's an alternative etymology that Chernobyl was named after a combination of words Chorny and Bilya, which literally means black grass or black swords. In the 13th century, the city was a crown village of Lithuania Grand Duchy. What does Chernobyl means in Hebrew? Chernobyl and wormwood. Since the nuclear disaster, the name Chernobyl, said to mean wormwood, has been associated with wormwood, the name of the great star in the book of Revelation 8:10 from the Revelation. So, yeah, there you got your trumpet. Or your angel with a trumpet. Speaking of images and idols.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there you come with your with Brad's current project of the 7th vial, huh?
Yeah, it's really interesting how we're actually intersecting the 2 different projects at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'd like, I could read this quick. This quotation of scripture, verse. Let me see. I'm in. Yeah. Okay. I was zoomed in there. Okay. So, chapter 8, verse 1. And when he opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half hour, and I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came from the prayers and of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire and mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. Okay, so when we're reading these verses, it's really important to understand that these meanings have a different, or I should say, these descriptions have a different meaning than what their physical appearance might be. Grass can mean something specific, and a third part of the trees can mean something specific. So the Bible will tell us. We just have to be patient enough to attend to those scriptures, to know them, and then we have the key that unlocks the true meaning, because they have a literal meaning, and then they have a what would that be? The word here I'm looking for.
Figuratively meaning.
Yeah, figurative meaning, or there's another word I'm thinking of, like a transformative kind of thing. But yeah, it's very interesting to read the exposition of James A. Wiley on this. But anyway, so back to verse 8. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning and with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and a third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded. Oh, so yeah, remember when the Bible speaks of waters being nations, peoples, and tongues? Mm-hmm. And a mouth, and the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound.
Yeah, thank you, Brett, for this verses here. You see that it's very interesting that they have this figure of an angel sounding a trumpet there on Chernobyl. So it's part of an agenda. It's part of a prophecy. It's part of the program which is running in front of our eyes. And it's a belief. So that means that if the sounding of the third trumpet means devastation and some things happening, it has not necessarily has to happen, in my humble opinion. It just that the people believe that it happens. It's like the situation that we are facing now today. Yeah. So it's a belief system. They fool you with their mass media into believing that these things are happening. It's a belief system. It's once again, it's false images and idols and lying wonders, and it's Satan being the father of lies. So the majority of information,
lying wonders, like you said earlier.
Yeah, so the information you got is all not only censored but and incomplete, yeah, but sometimes deliberately false. Yeah. So that you believe, yeah, in the power of the so-called powers to be, yeah, that so many people have died, etc., and you don't act according to the Bible, you just act according to their religion, yeah. So you believe them, you don't believe the Bible, you just believe them. Yeah. So it's very interesting that they claim that the incident has something to do with the third trumpet. I really doubt that. I see the catastrophe or the disaster of Chernobyl not so important as it would be the third trumpet, but they just play with that. Yeah, so they play with that. They said, yeah, look what we can achieve, and everything is going according to plan. Yeah, frankly, I don't know. I can't know, because I know that I've been fooled with all the media, Brett.
Right. Why should we be fooled again? Yeah.
Yeah. Fool me once, don't fool me twice. Yeah, you see that 180 of tons, yeah, 666. Yeah, I know that they are fooling me. Yeah, so I can't prove or disprove that, but I don't need it. When they show me an angel blowing a trumpet and Chernobyl wormwood and all the references, if they are correct or not. Yeah, so they're just playing tricks on us, I know. That's all I know. That's all I have to say about that. And so I don't have to go into that thing about the radiation in Chernobyl, because I know that a so-called friend of mine, he went there 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago with a bunch of friends together on a ride, I think it was on a motorbike, down to Ukraine, and they visited Chernobyl. Yeah. Oh, wasn't that a restricted area where supposedly a high number of deaths were occurring? And now it's a tourist attraction. Yeah, of course, the nuclear cloud has disappeared into the universe, or what? No, you see, there's nothing to it. Yeah, this is all fear-mongering. Yeah, and they serve also the biblical purpose. Yeah, so this is a photographer here, which has shot many pictures about that so-called famous incident happening at the nuclear power plant in Chernobyl. The name is Igor Kostin. Yeah, equipped with a gas mask or protective gear. Yeah, and that is his world-famous picture of that collapsed reactor in Chernobyl. 14 hours, 14, after the accident. The one and only picture from that accident. Yeah, and the low resolution is a result of the high radiation. That's the official explanation. Yeah, so there is no other explanation possible, Brad, that has been made from a helicopter that can only occur about the high radiation. That's the low resolution. Yeah, you can of course achieve that with every cheap computer nowadays.
Right.
But isn't that very interesting? That is just the only picture. Yeah, so you have to believe it. Yeah, just a belief system. Yeah. He was becoming a legend. Igor Kostin was becoming a legend. Yeah. So I have to ask you, when there was such a radiation, how could they develop the film? We are not talking about 1986, Brett. We are not talking about digital cameras.
No.
Oh my, oh my. You see that I don't have to believe everything they put out in front of us. He was one of 5 photographers in the world to take pictures of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster on the 26th of October. Oh, I thought it was the only picture. Yeah, he had captured the outgoing problems with contamination suffered by human beings and animals. His photos reportedly include those of many animals born with deformities in the Chernobyl area from his many incursions into the zone of alienation to bring the problems to the attention of the world. He died in a car accident. Oh. You see, this is all censored information. That's clear. And that's coming from Ukraine, and of course that's very close to. Or actually, it was Russia at this this day near Ukraine. But when was the Ukraine becoming to be independent? You see, the downfall of the Soviet Union was 1989, 1990 somewhere, with Gorbachev, President Gorbachev, who recently died. I think it was last week or so.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So when were they independent? Yeah, 1991. Yeah, after the fall of the Soviet Union, 1991, the Ukraine became independent or sovereign. 1991. Yeah, so in 1986 they were still under Russian government. Yeah, so that was not Ukraine, it was Russia. Yeah, so you know that Russia has censored all the
But
things,
now
yeah?
it is Ukraine. So
Now it is Ukraine. Yeah, since 1991 it's Ukraine. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you have to take that with a grain of many grains of salt.
Mm-hmm.
But the time they arrived, the fire has been extinguished by the time they arrived at Chernobyl via helicopter, that's what I told you, and witnessed a warlike scramble of military vehicles and power plant personnel down at the scene of the nuclear power plant. I think the keyword is military here, huh? He also experienced an odd feeling combined with high temperature and toxic smoke. Yeah, what do you think that how these power plants, atomic power plants are running? They are running on steam. Yeah, extreme heat, which is then being used to drive generators, and then to send the energy down the line to the next station. Sorry, I'm not a native English speaker. It's hard for me to explain, but this is not a miracle happening in these power plants. You see?
No.
And also, we do not know if the explanation is correct, because you see, there is much technology hidden and military secrets that we do not know. I don't think that is. There's also such thing allegedly been accessible as so-called free energy. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how these power plants are running, but according to my knowledge, they are just with extreme heat. Hence, the cooling towers of these so-called nuclear power plants. Yeah, why are they emitting such high doses of water vapor? Yeah, it's just about the heat.
Well, it's interesting. You just mentioned the topic of so-called free energy, which is highly suppressed by the powers that be. You know.
Yeah, you see that this is steam here. This is nothing but steam. This is not CO2 or what else. This is just steam.
Right.
Ask Peter Gabriel.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, you see, also we got another problem. You see that concerning things like September 11 and all the stuff, you see that you won't get the official explanation or the official truth or the absolute truth on that. You don't know how many patents, remember last session about the weather modification, how many patents there are hidden because of national security, because of military secrets, of secret societies, etc. How many patents are hidden from the public eye? We do not know that. Do you know how many patents there are of Nikola Tesla who have never seen the public?
No.
On purpose, because you see that the oil people and so of Dallas, they would get furious if there somebody would discover free energy or alternative energy or biofuel or what else. Yeah? Then you would end like some famous politicians. Yeah, sure, you experience high temperature and toxic smoke, of course. High temperature because something was boiling or something was melting even. Yeah, and toxic smoke, of course, just think about plastic, molten plastic, then you have an extremely toxic smoke. But it does not necessarily has to do something with the poisoning by radioactive emissions or what else. Yeah, you have to really look very careful to the things, and I'm not a science professor on that regard. But I highly doubt that the official explanation of that is correct. I think they are just running very conventional when you think about that. So I don't think that this is just the big deal to run a nuclear test thing. And I don't think that that is such a hard thing to do, given the amount of working atomic power plants, power stations around the world. Yeah, you see, it's not a miracle. Yeah, the mass exodus of inhabitants on Pripyat and 30-kilometer zones surrounding the nuclear power plant. Yeah, ordered by the government. Oh, before the 1st of May Labor Day celebration. Oh, give me a break. This is Baal worship here. Yeah, this is May Day. Yeah, this is Beltane, Druid festivities, etc. It's nothing to do with Labor Day. This is just a pagan feast. Once again. Dozens have died from the accident. Yeah, sure, if something is falling on your head, if something is exploding, then certainly people have died. Dozens have died, mostly workers at the nuclear power plant. Sure, that's where the explosion started. Sure, you die of an explosion.
That's interesting that in Europe you have a May 1st Labor Day.
Yeah.
In the United States we call it May Day, and our Labor Day is actually on... this next Monday, or this coming tomorrow. Actually.
Oh, you got a day off?
Yeah.
Oh, great. No, that's just Beltane. It's a Druid, an Irish festive date about fertility. You see the maypole, Christopher Lee.
Yeah, exactly.
The Wicker Man. That's the Labor Day. It has nothing to do with Labor Day, you know.
But yeah, also May 1st. What else falls under May 1st? The establishment of the Bavarian Illuminati?
Ah, yeah, you're correct. Yeah, not by accident, but on purpose. Yeah.
1776. Oh, yeah, spirit of 1776.
Yeah. You know, had nothing to do with Bryan Adams, by the way. Yeah, but you know who introduced that, according to my knowledge at the moment, from memory, who introduced the 1st of May to the German people? A guy called Adolf Hitler.
Ah, really?
And we celebrate it still to this very day. But of course, no wonder, because also the Roman Catholic Concordats of 1933 are still valid today, even for the so-called Federal Republic of Germany. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have to, you really have to think about that, huh? Yeah. And now if you go to the links of that world-famous photographer, what's the name once again? Koskin, yeah, Igor Kostin, yeah. Then in the footnotes, something mysteriously happens, yeah. So mysteriously happens because, After a report of the Swiss St. Gallen Tagblatt, so the daily newspaper, in an article of a female writer, author Susan Bowes, from the 26th of April 2006, yeah, it was the original occupied Chernobyl nuclear site photographer Anatoly Rasakov who shot the first pictures. But they're not here. So Mr. Koskin got the fame, yeah, but Mr. Anatoly Raskov was shooting the first pictures, yeah, but nobody knows Mr. Raskov. Yeah. That's I could not found that article then. Yeah, 404 means site not found. Yeah, but. Yeah, she published, so that journalist here, Susan Bowes, or Suzanne, of course, she published intensively of nuclear and energy policy. And an article of Anatoly Raskov says he was the first person, on Wikipedia of course, he was the first person to photograph the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Yeah, please show me the pictures. Huh? Yeah, to photograph the scene from a helicopter. He was sent by the plant authorities who gathered in the bunker and wanted to determine what had occurred to photograph the scene from a helicopter. He was accompanied by 2 soldiers and 2 civilians from Atom Energo Moscow Advanced Training Institute. Yeah. Back to the bunker. Rasakov was ordered by Viktor Petrovich Broikhanov, the plant director, to also take photos from the ground, shooting 2 rolls of film in total. The first roll of film was burned out by the radiation. Oh, why did it not happen by Mr. Koskin, huh? The second was only slightly damaged by the radiation. He also documented the building of the sarcophagus around the reactor, so the protective shielding. Most of these photos were never published. Oh, why is that, Brad? Yeah? Must have something to do with censorship, I guess. The ones that were chosen for reproduction were carefully chosen and or edited to downplay the damage. Yeah, if that is not censorship, then... If that is not censorship. Years later, they were published in a book without accreditation. Yeah. He suffered from burns. Yeah, sure, it was an explosion, and vomiting as early as after the first night, and has unhealed radiation burns on his forehead. His continued work around the reactor during the cleanup contributed further to his radiation poisoning, which he has blamed for his ruined health, which has included blood diseases and cancer. Yeah, if you are so close to an explosion, everything can happen, and I don't know what to take serious out of that article, because everything is coming upon the official narrative of the mass media here. This is Wikipedia. So he died after suffering for years from cancer and blood diseases that he blamed on the radiation. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can't know better. You see that you can't know what they have done to him. Yeah, Anatoly Rastakov. Yeah, this is an article I found here. BBC News. As Ukraine marks the 20th anniversary of the completion of the sarcophagus encasing the ruined reactor of Chernobyl, we published the story of the first man to photograph the wreckage on 26th of April 1986, the morning after the disaster. Huh? And so, you see any problems of radiation in that picture here? I don't know. Seems a little bit sharper than the picture of Mr. Raskin.
Yes, it does.
From the helicopter, huh? Yeah, strange, Brett. Strange, Brett. Yeah. So that's when you do research, you find that oh, that can't be, and that is very strange, and it's not fitting. Yeah. The entire story is very strange, and you know that the Russians are anything else but open. It's like China. Yeah. What do you want to believe out of China? Yeah. That there is a disease spreading around the entire globe, so to speak. Yeah, sure, the entire globe. Yeah, the reactor's glow was obscured when the picture was shown on TV. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. That's the article. Mr. Ratschov in action at the plant. Oh, why does he not wear a gas mask or a ABC mask, what we say here, against atomar, biological and chemical warfare? Maybe it was before the accident happened, huh? Yeah, so that's what I found out, that I thought that, well, that the one picture is just very low resolution, and then suddenly someone came up who was photographing, who was the first one even, so to my logical thinking, Brett, there must be even more radiation. But what do I know, huh? So that was a very sharp, or even a sharp picture, because he was showing an enlargement of a picture even, yeah? Look how large that picture is. Yeah? That's newspaper-like.
Right.
Yeah, so I have a hard time believing everything, yeah? So you also have to go to Russian sites to get more information about that, and I did that. Yeah, so you can't rely on Wikipedia and all the sources. Yeah, so I did translate it from Cyrillic letters, so from Russian into English here. Yeah, and now you got quite a different story to the Wikipedia story or to the BBC story. Anatoly Rasakov, a star photographer and art director at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Pripyat, Ukraine in July 1986. He is the author of the only historical photograph taken on April 26, here, the day of the Chernobyl disaster. On the basis of his photography, a government commission working on the day of the disaster in a bunker near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant was deciding on the extent of the disaster, in particular whether the reactor core of Unit 4 was affected. Printed pictures needed for the commission's work were presented to it at 11 p.m. on the 26th of April 1986. Yeah, you see, this is the translation here. Okay. Yeah, this is Cyrillic. This is how the Russian people are reading and writing here. Okay, so let's get it on now. On the same day, they were confiscated by the Soviet secret services. This is official Russian translation here. Only once, 2 photos from his shooting were printed in 1987 in the photo album Chernobyl Report without mentioning the author. A month ago, the Chernobyl NPP authorities returned some of his photos to Rasakov. April 26, 2006 is the 20th anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster. Photo courtesy, etc., etc. So, confiscated by the Soviet secret services. So they have something, yeah, sorry, yeah, they have something to hide. Brett.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, of course. They have something to control.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a cross here, huh?
What on earth is this? More art, huh?
More art, yeah. Igor Kostin, yes, he was the famous hero out of the helicopter with that great picture. Now you compare that picture. He wasn't the first one. He's got the fame. Yeah, because the original pictures, they were confiscated by the Secret Service of the real, authentic first, according to that story, the first photographer, Anatoly Raskatsov. And now you know that, please, if you do anything about the Chernobyl legend, yeah, then please compare it to the trumpet in the book of Revelation, and don't think for just a moment that something is the way that the authorities of Wikipedia is claiming to be. Because that is the official explanation, this is the official translation from DeepL, from that small article here. So that's the best I can come up with at the moment. Yeah. So I know that they are playing tricks on you. Yeah. They are really playing tricks on you. It's really hard to look behind the curtain because you only get restricted information. They don't want you to know anything. Yeah. So here's a link from Russian Wikipedia even. Yeah, and if you want to know more about it, yeah, then you have to translate it into German or into English and into your language. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so you will get much more information about that. But my problem is really that you can't rely on any information about it, on any. Yeah, but if I show that it's called, or it's just a synonym for wormwood, and there is an angel depicted with a trumpet, then sorry people, you know, it's so obvious. They are just it's just a part of the agenda. Yeah. So all the atoms, from the atomist, scientific or not scientific, or pseudoscience approach of excluding God, is just being forwarded and just part of the agenda. Yeah, it's just part of the agenda. What really happens in Chernobyl, if there are some other laboratories or if something is occurring there, nobody knows, because everything can be a fake or setup or what else. Yeah, you see that this situation there, which happened in Chernobyl in 1986, is quite similar to the situation occurring around the Earth, or across the Earth, not around, but across the Earth in 2022. Why are they not protecting their ears? Why are they not protecting their eyes? Huh? Why are they not protecting their skin? This is such a superficial word. It's just unbelievable, you see. Yeah, these are the so-called, what's the name? Liquidators, I think they're called. The people, they were just working there, getting rid of all the mess and the scrap. Liquidators, and many of them died, but we do not know the real cause of that. Yeah, yeah, and many deformations. Yeah, so but is that according to radiation or to something else? Yeah, could be also another reason. Yeah, we cannot know. But what we know is that there must be some religious purpose behind it because of the angel blowing the trumpet. Yeah? So all the things happening around the earth, the major things that people really remember, be it the JFK assassination, be it 9/11, be it the current situation, be it Chernobyl, yeah, they're all part of an agenda. You can't look at them separately. Yeah, they are just part of an agenda to scare the hell out of people. And they do not scare the hell out of people, but actually they scare the hell into the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, controlling the people by fear, fear-mongering.
Correct.
It's just fear-mongering.
Placing the fear of man in man.
Yeah, really, yeah. It's abandoned areas, you see that looking like ghost towns. Yeah, like in the gold rush, the ghost towns. Yeah, so this is just the world, you see. That is the museum, Chernobyl museum called Star Wormwood. This is a biblical reference, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they indoctrinate you. Star Wormwood in Chernobyl. With gas masks, with masks, you see that something with fear-mongering, huh? Saddam Hussein as their representative, whose name means destroyer or abandon in Hebrew, as described in Revelation 9:11. Yeah, Saddam Hussein allegedly is the meaning of a destroyer. I don't know if that is correct, but just found that. Yeah, Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So, just you have to see the biblical context, and then you know that they aren't just playing tricks on you. It serves just the only purpose that those are in power, those control the media, and those are playing tricks on us. Yeah. From the west of the alley of the abandoned village, the monument Trumpeting Angel is placed. There is one version that is the name of the city is associated with Chernobyl, or the grass that is better known to us, Wormwood. This fact inspired many myths related to the Bible. According to the predictions of John the theologian, the third angel sounded and a large star fell from heaven, burning like a lamp, with P, and fell on the third of the rivers and the sources of water. The name of the star is Wormwood, and the third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died of the waters because they became bitter. Well, I have not heard something about that the waters are there becoming bitter, but that might be about censorship or what. The monument, Trumpeting Angel, symbolized the prophecy about the Star of Wormwood, which was destined to become. The memorial complex also includes the museum, opened in 2011. The room was built in 1977 and was equipped with a cinema called Ukraine. After the accident in 1986, the building was used for trade and storage purposes. Inside was a grocery store and a cafe bar. The auditorium served as a storehouse for various items. The museum has things that were collected from different parts of the Chernobyl zone, children's toys, etc. Yeah? The memorial complex, Star of Wormwood, is included in a mandatory program of our excursion. So that means that you have to see it. Seeing is believing, huh? And it's also mandatory for many children in the school. In Dallas, for example, I remember, Brad, that it's mandatory to visit once in a lifetime the 6th floor museum of Dallas, Dealey Plaza, so that they be indoctrinated how Lee Harvey Oswald did it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's indoctrination.
Of course. You can say, oh, I went there. I seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, sure.
I know exactly what happened. Yeah.
Then it gets really weird when we're going down to the road of the Wormwood Star. I thought we were finished, but the magical life of Marjorie Cameron. I said, no, come on. Yeah? You know who Marjorie Cameron is? She was the wife of JPL founder Jack Parsons.
Oh.
I said, no, follower of Aleister Crowley. So, Wormwood Star, The Magical Life. So that has also some resemblance of The Magical Life of Marjorie Cameron, Star Wormwood. I said, no, it does not end. It does not end. Yeah, it really does not end. Yeah. You see, sometimes I really think that I must be 200 years old to see all of the stuff, but it's constantly lying here. Cameron, Star, Wormwood. Yeah, she was a witchy woman. Yeah, sure, she did rituals, and beatnik artist known widely in several labs since her death. Blah 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 blah. But at least that's the name.
Well, maybe this has to do with Kabbalah too, just to throw you off. Because, you know, to my understanding, Michael, what happened back in ancient Babylon is a perversion of the truth. And what they've done is they've just continued to propagate that lie in these traditions of men. And, you know, this is the working of the second beast, from my understanding. Because the first beast is Babylon, the second is Medo-Persia. Tradition.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. The budding filmmaker Curtis Harrington was so taken with Cameron, speaking of the ex-wife of Jack Parsons, he made a film study dedicated to artwork entitled The Wormwood Star. So that was his contribution about that filmmaker. Yeah, but you could get on and on and on. You see that the apparition of Mary appeared exactly the 1-year anniversary of Chernobyl. What a coincidence, huh? In Ukraine. Yeah. So in the region where that reactor incident happened, 1 year to the minute. To the minute, Brett. 1 year to the minute after the accident at Chernobyl. My. 500,000 people saw Mary, he claims. You see, this, I can't prove that, of course. Yeah?
No.
Yeah. 500,000 people saw Mary, brought open portals to evil like we've never seen. I don't know, I have not, I would have to look into that very video here, but yeah. The first apparition actually occurred 2 weeks before World War I. Interesting, 1940. On April 26, 1987, 73 years later after 1940, and exactly 1 year after the Chernobyl nuclear reactor disaster, a bright light covered this church at the Holy Trinity and the surrounding area. A television program even recorded part of this light phenomenon. From within this impressive silver dazzle over the church, the Virgin Mary appeared and floated above the cupola of the church. She first appeared to Mary Kinsin, age 12. Yeah, is that surprising?
Why did the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?
Yeah.
Psalms chapter 2. This is what the Catholics have to bear. Some really tough news here, that their church is responsible for taking all the pagan practices on this Roman earth and inculcating them into their belief. You have a lot, if you're a traditional Catholic, you have a lot to consider very carefully.
Look at this here. Teach the children to play. Teach the children to pray. Mary's messages.
Yeah, that's right.
Teach them to live in truth. Ha, 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 ha. What kind of truth? And live yourself in truth. Say the rosary. It's a weapon against Satan. He fears the rosary. That's pure indoctrination here. It's a blatant lie.
A blatant lie, yep.
Yeah, the rosary is nowhere to be found in the Bible. This is
witchcraft, Michael. You didn't choose that green for any joking here.
No, but it's just a pure indoctrination, because the rosary has mentioned nowhere in the Bible to be found. Nowhere.
Yeah, that's right.
My. The eternal God is calling you. Yeah, sure. Yeah, the ruler Yaroslav the Wise dedicated Ukraine to the Most Holy Mother of God in the year 1037. Now, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, so you see that it's not by coincidence. Yeah? It's not by coincidence. Yeah, so it's just a belief system that the Geiger-Müller counter is just detecting something very poisonous or something very deadly. Actually, in fact, he just detecting cycles. Yeah. But where to start in that system? You see that you have to verify everything. And yeah, Mr. Geiger, the Geiger counter. Yeah, was a German physicist. That's very interesting to know. The Geiger counter is explicitly the sensitive director of ionizing radiation. It can detect a single particle, sure, but it does not tell you that a single particle is poisonous or important or what else. Yeah? So I don't know if I see that symbol here. My.
It's like little tridents.
You see, it goes on and on and on. For me, it was just the resemblance between the Mary apparition and I don't know where I found that pentagram there.
Yeah, right.
I can't recall actually. I'm really sorry, because that is Rutherford's atomic model. No, that's just that. It's just so much information. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But you see that there is such huge truth in that. It just all serves the purpose of the agenda. Yeah, it all serves the purpose of the agenda. Yeah, this Hans Geiger, even though his health was declining, he still worked as the editor for the magazine of Physics and the Book of the Physic, which translates to the Journal of Physics, the Handbooks of Physics. In 1945, he defeated the rheumatism and his health began to get better. However, he later died in June of that year. He died on September the 24th, 1945, so 6 weeks after the alleged atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Potsdam, Germany. The cause of death are unknown. Huh? At least not a car accident or a plane crash, Brad.
Right.
My. Cause of death unspecified, yeah? So there is so much things where you can really start your research. Yeah? Yeah, that's his tombstone. It's a grave of Hans Geiger, the Geiger counter. Cause of death unknown. Okay, it's 1945, it's just after the war, yeah? But interesting nevertheless. Yeah, so some people are really eating uranium, and some people are affected by the radiation and die. So, what to believe? The carcinogenicity of plutonium, it means it creates cancer. Huh?
Carcinogen.
Yeah, sorry.
Carcinogens, yeah.
Sorry, it's really late here. Yeah,
yeah,
so
totally.
There are many sources which can start to get you into thinking if the original doctrine is correct or not. And I would strongly advise to think of the second possibility. Yeah. If that has not a biblical content with the angel with the trumpet and wormwood, and a rocket from the Russians, which called Satan II, then I don't know.
Well, isn't Satan II the name that this country gives to it? The United States?
Second beast or what? No.
Yeah.
It's not the second beast. Yeah.
So-called second beast.
We are living in such a wicked world. You see that even robots are now blessing people. Yeah. The robot is called bless you. That's in a Protestant church in Germany.
I think it's the other way around. Curse you.
Yeah. Yeah, It's a transhumanoid church of the New Age, or let's talk about Satan.
Oh, geez. Transhumanism. Yeah, that's a really horrible
You
topic.
see, if you got any questions left on that session, then please call and ask
Oh,
Mr.
look at those 2 8-pointed stars. This guy
Captain
got.
Atom.
Oh, he's got one on his chest too.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The Trinity side, the destroyer. Yeah, Trinity, like a. Ah, come on. You see that you can go into every nitty-gritty here. Yeah,
There's our Kabbalah right there.
Yeah, it's just like the snake is always poisoning the minds of the so-called scientists because they don't believe in God, they exclude God, and then they are Satan's or the serpent's prey. Yeah, that's what they are. Serpent of wisdom, yeah, ha. Huh? Yeah, he shall not surely die. Oh, how wise was that from the serpent? Huh? That was a blatant lie.
It's a different kind of wisdom. It's for those in the flesh.
It's a different kind of wisdom.
Let's just say
it's the opposite
bluntly,
of the wisdom, Brad.
It's for those in the flesh. You want to live in the flesh? There you go. Have at it.
Yeah, I'm finally at the end of everything. I just wanted to know what explaining the faith Ukraine. I just want to show you that video actually because I think that apparition into Ukraine. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh my poor boy. Maybe that is a poisonous metal. Yeah. So what's that? What's that called? It's called Explaining the Faith Ukraine. Maybe we can find that. Explaining the Faith Ukraine. I think that's it. Let's have a look. Yeah, what is heaven telling us on which timestamp? 14 minutes. Okay, let's get it on. Maybe we got lucky here. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, then I will enhance it. I will slow it down, and we will have English subtitles. Okay, so maybe that's useful. That we all see there are no coincidences. Our Lady of Rushiv. Nobody here in America has ever heard of, but it means everything right now. Yeah, 1986. Yeah. Mary, the mother of God. Appear to a 12-year-old girl. Yeah, they only take them when they're young, huh? Named Maria. Oh, my, really. Yeah. 1987. Yeah, exactly the 1 year after anniversary. Yeah. Yeah. What a coincidence. They all served their prophecy of Fatima and the Pope and the papacy bread. A nuclear warning about what man could do. Yeah, it's fear-mongering. Yeah, so the Orthodox Church, huh?
Yes, correct.
The Great Schisma, hmm?
Yeah, that's right. The schism, sure. There's
The
multiple
Latin Western
schisms.
Church. Oh my, I'm sorry for that.
Hmm?
Oh. Mm-hmm. Beautiful rites, yeah, great. Has nothing to
Beautiful
do.
rituals.
Yeah. Under
No,
Rome.
rituals are not beautiful.
Yeah. No. Uh-huh. Yeah, but they are still Catholic.
Oh, sure, of
Yeah.
course. That's the trouble. It's just, the east and west is the two legs of the Roman beast. Eastern leg and the western leg. Could be more simple than that.
Yeah, collapse of the Soviet Union. And in 1991, Ukraine became independent or sovereign. Mary's apparition in Ukraine. What a coincidence, huh?
Mm-hmm.
How many people out there really know what this with the Marian apparition and the prophecy of Fatima?
Well, they're just more deceived souls like we are. We've been deceived too.
Yeah, it's really sad in what condition the world actually is.
Yep. There's nothing wrong once you repent of it, Michael.
Mary had appeared. Yeah, the Ukraine is very special to Mary. Yeah, it's also very special to the papacy.
Yeah, that's the point. That is the point.
It's just a tool on the way to the United States of the Earth, or what? Or
Sure.
United Belief. Right. Yeah, so yeah.
Many possessions, Eucharist, masses, worship, etc. Processions. Excuse me. Yes, processions.
May, the month of Mary. Oh yeah, 1914. Yeah, no. Yeah, to some people, yeah, working in the fields, and she appeared to some children. It's always very children were very
and
easy
she
to
told
influence.
them there would be war now. War did not come in the world.
Yeah.
A few years later, and she said, these are Mary's words, not mine. Okay.
No, I doubt that these are Mary's words.
These are Satan's words, not mine. Yeah, so much for self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, Russia will become separate from the Pope and his his influence. That's what that means.
Well, it's just easy. If Russia collapse on their belief system, then that was just the first thing of kind of a domino effect.
Well, and the thing is, what does that really mean? Because you've seen Vladimir Putin bowing down before the images and idols of the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Yeah, and at the same time, they have issued a law, I think it was in 2015, around that time, that you cannot openly preach about Jesus Christ in the public.
Yeah, that's right.
You're only allowed to preach the gospel in churches.
Yeah, that's
at least that was my last
I agree. That's right. I heard the same thing.
Yeah, I think you've seen enough to really see what's it all about with Chernobyl. You see, it has everything to do with playing a part in the big game.
The Roman theater, yeah.
In the theater, yes. Yeah. If it would be possible, Brett, that we have read that from the Bible, if it is possible even to deceive the very elect.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. 1815. Let's go back. What does he say here? We redefined marriage as we redefined genders. No, we didn't redefine genders. They are just two sexes. My. I would not be surprised if he was a Jesuit. Mm-hmm. Open portals to evil. Yeah, you find the open portals in every Roman Catholic church. My. I'm just a heretic today, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, I think we can stop it here, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm really exhausted. But I think there was so much interesting points. At least I hope that. Yeah. Prophecy from heaven at Fatima and other apparitions tell us about the current events regarding Russia and Ukraine. I think it was very interesting to combine that with the events of the atomic theories, atomists, and the fear-mongering and the Mary apparitions and Chernobyl. Yeah, you see, it's just an unbelievable program which is running on every level and in every field. Yeah, so if you go down to the music, if you go down to media, to movies, to cinema, to politicians, if you go down to science, yeah, all roads lead to Rome.
Oh, it's so thoroughly corrupted, yeah.
Yeah.
Just incredible how many layers of
300,000 subscribers. 300,000.
Sure, of course.
Talking about the Broadway. Yeah?
Yes. Well, and that's only partial.
What about images and idols? Oh, second commandment, not known to us.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Marian sites. Oh, the divine mercy. Oh, isn't it divine mercy? So divine mercy is a Marian site. So what else do I need to know, Brett? What else do I need to know?
That the Catholic Church hates Protestantism as much today as it always has. And they've done everything they could to eliminate it in the world, and they've succeeded. So now they feel like they have no competition. Well, essentially they don't. Because they don't count nobodies like you and me, Michael.
Yeah, isn't it?
That are on the internet speaking against them.
You can't serve two masters. Yeah, you can't serve God and the mammon.
No, you can't.
Choose your poison.
Right. Yeah. And what are debt notes anyway? Negative value.
Jesus one is with the corona. Oh my.
Yeah, images and idols, right?
Yeah, the divine mercy. Yeah, so that is, as far as I'm concerned, that is the end of the atomic script so far. That means that you will be thrown away by all the blunders, by all the images, idols, by all the lies and deceptions. So just have a cigarette, maybe, I don't know. Maybe Godzilla quit smoking. Yeah, because of course he has atomic breath.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Oh, now I know the purpose of it. You see, you have to really see it in context. Yeah.
Oh wait, what was the adversary of Godzilla?
King Kong or what?
No, there was King Kong, and then there was another one. I forget.
Mecha Godzilla.
Oh,
Mechanical Godzilla. Transhumanoid Godzilla. Yeah. Or mechanical.
was it Megalon? That's it, Megalon.
Yeah, no. No, I just
Okay,
wanted to see that
Michael?
if he has got no lighter, yeah,
You
then he
and I
could
are
ask
both
Godzilla to help him out with his atomic breath to light his cigarette.
Michael, here's something hilarious, okay? To end on a hilarious note. When I was a child, my mom bought a tape recorder back in the 70s. And guess what? I just love the tape recorder. I started going around recording all kinds of things. And I think I was about, I don't know how old, 6 or 7. And I was taking rubber bands to the microphone and going doing, doing, doing.
Yeah.
And then I was doing we did a skit on my birthday where I was Godzilla and there was someone else that was Megalon.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine Brett screaming at his 6 or 7
Yeah,
year old?
actually, I can imagine that quite well because I know when you are furious how you sound. Yeah, so.
Oh, I ought to send that to you. You get a good laugh out of that one.
Yeah, but that is really the end of the script. Yeah, so that just end us about that. It's just all about fear mongering, and it's all about the Ukraine thing of Chernobyl. It's all about the Mary apparition, and all about the Fatima prophecy, and all about that Russia has to be Catholic again.
I'll tell you what. I'm 53 years old. I think it was this summer. I was working out on a deck replacing some steps, and I heard some children screaming like I did when I was doing the Godzilla versus Megalon thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. It's the same now as it ever has been. It's just that things, they use different tactics today than they used back in the old days. And it's just incredible how, the cycle of life just keeps continuing, and it's going to keep continuing till Jesus comes back. And who knows, who knows how many more years? I have no clue, really. I don't.
We can only do our best. You see that we are fallible humans. We will make mistakes, but I think that we have... I think that went well, that session, that we have so many different things from the agnostics to Chernobyl to the Bible, and everything was, I think it was showing you that this is a world full of deception, full of lies. Yeah, because Jesus Christ said, my kingdom is not from hence. So what do you expect from this world?
Yeah, full of cigarettes too. Watch out. Be careful.
Yeah.
I mean, you can try them, but boy...
Yeah.
Don't get in the habit, because that's really hard to kick. I had it for, I think I got hooked at 19, and I was probably a good 10, 12, 13, 14 years. I had a really bad cigarette habit. And it happens, but yeah, man. It's funny. I even had a dream last night about smoking.
Oh.
Couldn't believe it, man. I thought I'd never have dreams about smoking again. Oh, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Totally wrong.
Yeah, Brett, you see, to sum it up, I could do numerous sessions about the atom thing, but you see that all takes much time, and I think that we have sorted out so many things, and you see, it's really up to you if you believe people into scaring you, scaring the peep out of you, or if you just believe in the Bible, in an almighty God. So then it won't affect you that much, because you know that this is just a station to your eternal life. So please obey God and not the mammon. Yeah, please obey God and not the doctrine that they are putting us upon us in all the school education system. Yeah, so there are so many errors in it and so many deceptions and lies that you can't recover them all.
It's also Satan tempts you at times when you're weak, and when you're alone, especially. You know, that's why it's so much better to be with others. You know, when you're doing studies and discussions and things like that is great. But sometimes you got to do it solo too. I'm not saying one way is the right way. It's just that.
So,
Go ahead, Mike.
yeah, so for me, really, it's the end of the session now. It's 30 minutes before midnight, and I have to sign off. Really, we did.
Well, that's
around,
better
I
than
don't
10
know,
seconds before midnight, Michael.
we did 5 to 6 hours session now today. So please excuse me, but I have to step down a bit now. I think that much has been said. And we will continue the Science is the New Religion series, but it can also take a while because I have other tasks too. I'm doing a series in German. I'm doing the Conspiracy Kennedy series in 2 languages. So I'm very busy in going into things, and also I need some time off to read the Bible. Yeah, so. So thanks very much for having me, Brad, but I would like to ask you to close it down. You were a prolific and brilliant partner today. I very much enjoyed both sessions, and yeah, let's looking forward to next upcoming sessions. Thank you very much, and praise the Lord, and Maranatha, handing it over to my beloved brother, Brad.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here and I actually received this work that you've done on the series. That we got to be careful, not only with science, but with the faith itself. It's all perishable. You know, it's very delicate thing. And if you look at the history behind it, is absolutely fascinating. And I know that there's a lot of different beliefs and a lot of different ways to look at it. And, you know, Michael and I aren't saying that we have, you know, this way is the only way. It's just that it's a narrow way, right, Michael? It's not many people that find it. That's the trouble. And the saddest part is that we're living in this world with all of these millions of souls literally being deceived by this beast system that is run by tyrannical government, really. And, you know, if you look at this picture, yeah, the war on terrorism, what did we just look at today? We just looked at terrorism by definition in the old Oxford Dictionary is actually government by intimidation. I mean, my country is definitely very intimidating, Michael. You have the left and right wing of the Roman bird. Yeah, the eagle. The Roman eagle. It's the symbol of this country. It was the symbol of Germany, too. So we have the rise of the Fourth Reich, really. That's the way I look at it. And I know others do, too. But it doesn't mean that it's right. It's just a different way of looking at it. That's all it means. It's just like reading someone's exposition on the book of Revelation, which is not an easy book. Not an easy thing to get through. But I think the end result will be, at least we know what the warnings were back then. At least we know what the warnings are now. That's the point, is to transfer that knowledge that was lost and restore it back into full power. And we hope and pray that the glory of Christ comes through that power. His glory, not ours. We just hope to be vessels that are used for that purpose, to find the real truth again and bring it to light. And our hope is that that peace will be with us as we journey into the future down this narrow path. And we hope that you join us, God willing, in the future. Maranatha.